All right, sorry we're late, everybody. That is definitely my bad. My name is Michael Govier, G-O-V's Victor, I-E-R. MJ Govier on Twitter. I'm going to be here with my co-host, Christopher Deary, C. Deary 1999, and our special guest, which we'll get to in just a moment. That is dearly beloved, not deer-hoofed animal that'll crush your car at a high rate of speed. It could be a real bummer. Cinema 9 podcast ran a little bit over, so I apologize for that. But when you're talking Stir of Echoes, shit's going to happen. It's just how it goes. At any rate, follow us, Palazzo Podcasts, 2 L's, 2 Z's, Palazzo Podcast at protonmail.com. And today's guest is somebody who loves talking fantasy baseball. He is the host of his very own podcast called The Operating Room, where he is going to put everything back together and even give you a whole new Frankenstein of a team that's going to allow you to win big money in all your fantasy baseball leagues. He is a man who's probably got one of the better voices in the game, and he's on the come. He's part of fantasy baseball in a really unique voice. You really do. Kev Mahserejian. I'm not fucking shit. Mahserejian. I worked on it all day yesterday.
That was it. I'm sorry, man. That was not it, but I appreciate the effort. Michael, you've been trying for days now, and you just haven't gotten it.
It sounded great in your little preview vid yesterday, Mike. I think you had it on.
He had a really good attempt. He sent it to me, and I was like, this works. And then, I think I saw one today, and then this. I mean, it's just been fluctuating. Okay, it's literally. Let me break it down. It's like moss grows on a tree or that's algae on a pond, but moss on a tree, air, there's air around us, edge, you have the edge of something, and then yawn, so moss, air, edge, yawn. Mahserejian.
He's been saying this his whole life to everybody.
Yawn. Moss,
air, edge,
air.
Yawn.
Edge, yawn.
Moss,
edge, air, yawn.
No, moss, air, edge, yawn. It's 4 syllables.
Moss, air, edge, yawn. Moss, air, edge, yawn.
No, put it all together.
Edge, yawn. Moss, air, edge, yawn. Moss, air, edge, yawn.
Well, what's that Fight Club thing? His name is Robert.
His name is Robert Paulson.
Robert Paulson. That's what it sounds like right now. His name is Moss Air Edge Yawn. So that's the big vibe I'm getting right now.
Okay, great.
Yeah, you know what? I'm only human, and I like to consider myself as a decent broadcaster. But hey, you know what? We all make mistakes. So, but I want you to know, it's one of the toughest ones. I think you should actually take credit, and you should be proud of that, because I used to be a high school teacher, okay? And I would dive into names I'd never seen before, and I worked in all kinds of places, not just boring-ass white names like Smith and Jones. I was everywhere, and I got to tell you, this has been one of the most challenging last names I've ever been a part of. So I think you should take a bow and say, hey, I stumped Michael Govier. Well done, sir. You got me. You dominated me. I take pride in doing this well, and I fucked it up, and I feel bad about it, but you got me, and I want you to be. I think you should take pride in that. I do. The fact that I failed. That's how I see it. So
it's like that skit from Key and Peele where the teacher just butchers everyone's name, but he does it correctly, and they're the ones with the funky name. So that's what it feels like. My name's just funky. It's not your fault.
Oh, it's totally my fault, but that's okay. You know what?
What did you have?
We should have done a FaceTime
You
session.
did, didn't you?
No, I mean, we could have done that for a half hour, you're right. But let's talk fantasy baseball. Let's have some fun today. Let's get into it. I mean, what's on your mind today? How you feeling? What is something that people should know about you that has nothing to do with fantasy baseball before we talk fantasy baseball?
Okay, well, nice to meet everybody who's listening who hasn't actually listened to me before. This is my voice. It's not that great. It's not like Michael hyped it up to be, but something about myself, non-fantasy based. I guess let's do my name again. My first name and my middle name are the same exact thing. So my first name's Kevork. That's what Kev. So Kev is short for Kevork. Kevork translates to George in Armenian. And so my full name's technically George if you translate it from Armenian to English technically. So my parents just completely were like, let's throw this kid's life off from the jump. And they named me to honor my grandfather, and he's from the Middle East, but they called him George in the over there, and they named me Kevork in America. None of it made sense. So I've just been thrown for a loop my entire life. I have no sense of self. I mean, I'm finally figuring out my who I am, and I'm comfortable with it. I like being Kev. I like being Kevork, but like I tried to be George at once. It didn't. I don't know. Like I'm just a very confused individual, but I know a lot about fantasy sports. I like to say that, but when it comes down to like who I am, that's where it gets difficult.
Chris, so you're Armenian.
Fully, yes.
Chris is your good friend growing up. He was Armenian, right?
Oh, deal. Derek Ornikian. Yeah, his dad is Armenian. Smoking O is what we call him.
I remember I met him only once at the softball game one night. That guy was classic.
One of the greatest people I've ever met in my life. But they're Armenian.
That's great baseball player too, by the way.
We're all around. Hey, speaking of Armenians, James Cabrian, we have an ace pitching for the Oakland A's. We'll get into that later, but if we want to talk about Armenians, that's the man.
Wow, no shit, that's fantastic. See, we're already learning something on the show here. It's the Plazo Podcast. We're live with our guy from the operating room, Kev Mahserejian.
Nope.
Air before edge.
Air before edge. Yep, exactly. Deary got it.
Yeah. I'm succumbing to the pressures of being live. I've failed. See, you grew up with an Armenian friend, though. You have the advantage. I think that's a good thing. So I have not had a lot of exposure to Armenian culture, and I feel like I need to do a lot of homework. But let's do some homework on fantasy baseball first tonight, because in the end, we're all here for one reason. We come together because baseball brings people together. And that's why we have you on the show. And that's why we've met so many wonderful people, like I was talking about earlier in the video before tonight's podcast. There's so many people I haven't had a chance to even talk to recently because you meet so many cool people through this experience. And I'm really grateful for that. And I'm glad that we get to do this every week. So this is just another example of that. But yeah, you're part of Rotoballer Network, right? In the operating room. Rotosurgeon is your handle, at Rotosurgeon. Yeah. Please follow him on Twitter because it's a great fucking name. I'm actually jealous of it. Our names are boring. It's just our names. But you came up with a sweet, like, Roto handle, and I thought they were all taken, but they're never taken.
No. Okay, actually, the only reason it's Rotosurgeon is because I used to anglicize my last name to my surgeon. So literally,
that's how it fits. That's smart. When we first talked, you told me that story, and that's what got locked into my brain last night when I did the video. See, because I remember shit. We did discuss that, so that's interesting.
Absolutely, but yeah, that's the only reason it's Rotosurgeon. Like, I'm not a doctor. I like to mention that a lot on my podcast when I talk about injuries. But yeah, no, it's a whatever name. Like, I was considering changing it, but I guess it's stuck to this point.
Yeah, see, you're going to make some comment about some injury, and someone's going to be like, I heard it from the doctor. I heard it from the Roto surgeon. Be like, no,
the Rojo surgeon. The Rojo Mojo. But yeah, no. I don't know. Like, I'm cool with it. It is what it is. People call me. I mean, I don't want it to become like people like riff on me because I'm a dog. Like, I don't know, where I get shit talking about injuries, but that's the only thing that kind of could be a negative on this.
Nah, don't sweat that. Let's focus on the positives.
Okay.
Good friend of mine at rotofanatic.com, Mr. Dr. Mike Carter. He writes closing remarks every Sunday, and we call him Mr. Doctor, but he's not even close to being a doctor. So
he's like a everybody loves principal.
Him. Yeah. He's at best. But he doesn't have a doctorate. He's not a doctor. So he's a great guy, just like you are, as far as we can tell. So let's let it roll. Let's have some fun with it. I have no beef with that. But I do want to share from rotofanatic.com, since we are part of the Rotofanatic Podcast Network, that we got a great article out called The 2021 Ball, and it's written by Crosby Spencer. It's fantastic. I really, really want to encourage you guys to read it. I'm going to drop it in the live stream comments here, too, so you guys can click on the link. I make it very easy for y'all. Crosby put a ton of work into this. It's data over the last 3 years and about the first 2 months of the season that he uses his own mad scientist formulas and algorithms, make it all come together. It'd give you guys probably the clearest data we have so far about what the ball is doing, and are we living in a situation where we know pitching is dominating, but is the ball traveling less? Are home runs down? We know they're down slightly, but why are they down? And if so, will this continue? Is offense picking up? It's all in this article, rotofanatic.com, the 2021 Ball. I want you guys to check that out. It's good stuff. And then on that note, check out the Turn 2 podcast. My guy at rotofanatic.com, Matt Williams, Carme Arano, and Paul Mamino did a podcast this week talking about people to pick up that are going to save your season going into the Memorial Day weekend, which apparently, Kev, do you play in any second chance leagues? Because there's second chance leagues that are popping up on NFBC this weekend. Apparently, I'm not doing those. I feel like I got my hands full as it is. But are you interested in that?
Not really right now. Like, I have my hands full with leagues I've been in since the preseason. So honestly, that's just not of any interest to me. And it feels like, you lose that edge. I guess it's like, if you could buy into bounce backs, that's chill. But for me, it's like, if I couldn't call it from the preseason on, I'm not going to make up for it in the middle of the year. Hey, maybe if I get that itch later down the line in a few years, I might do it, but it's just not for me right now.
Deary, I know that you've had some disappointments, especially in our own Palazzo Invitational, much like myself.
I'm so disappointed in 90% of my leagues. It's just injury fest. It's guys not producing. Head-to-head leagues, I just run into a buzzsaw with whoever I'm playing. But I'm probably not interested in any second chance leagues. Like what Kev said, this is what I drafted. This is what I have to live with. And now it's just about making moves to improve my team. So obviously in the Palazzo pod, it's over. I mean, this was a draft and hold. I'm in 14th. That I don't see myself moving up. I think it'll be a win if I ended up like 10th. But I'm still having fun. So that's all that matters.
Yeah, the draft and holds, they kind of sticky with what you got. And if it's not good, it's not going to get much better unless there's some injuries you had. But beyond that, you can't add to your roster in draft and holds. Jasper Springer is with us. What's up, Jasper? Good to see you again. Jasper has been a regular on the show. He's always here with us. He's from Indiana. Shout out. We're live with Roto Surgeon here. Kev talking about fantasy baseball. And we're going to get into that situation right now. But first, we got to play the Belvedere music. And we got to say thank you to all the people that have contributed to our show. I was on Pop Goes Your World. It's a great podcast with Chris McBrien and Derek. He's a great guy. So please check it out. Pop Goes Your World. Chris McBrien used to be the king of fantasy baseball and podcasting a few years ago, but he's kind of focusing on pop culture now. So check out Pop Goes Your World. And as far as trophy ideas for the Palazzo Podcast Invitational,
anything? We just got the one right now.
Well, we got the two have been offered.
We got two? Okay.
One of them is a little more vulgar. I think Russell wants to do a large golden beaver, which is a reference to the movie that this podcast is named after. The Hey, It's a Rico Palazzo podcast is named after the Naked Gun movie, and that is a line from that movie. So we'll consider the large golden beaver, but someone also said we should do an NFT. So somebody would have exclusive access to an NFT, which are non-fungible tokens for those of you that are not aware of what those are. And I don't know what it would be exactly, but I don't know. It's an interesting idea. Kev, you know anything about NFTs?
Yeah, I'm big into Top Shot, so I'm buying into that market. But for the most part, it feels oversaturated. So I feel like any other NFT outside of Top Shot, and that's basically it. It's that, maybe some league sponsored for the NFL, MLB, but NBA, with how worldwide it is, there's a massive market. Whereas, like, let's say with NFL, if like Patrick Mahomes NFT 1 of 1 or whatever, like nobody outside of America cares about football or Patrick Mahomes. So you have to look at where the markets are. And with NFTs, I think it's a fantastic idea. I think it is the future, but there is you can't do anything with them besides have them kind of like with NBA Top Shot. At least you could collect and get more moments with their challenges. But other than that, for the most part, it feels kind of scammy when other people do it. But if you do it for free, it's fine, I guess.
It's so weird. It's like the weirdest idea I've ever heard of, but I wish I came up with the idea because it's killing it.
There's a lot of unique things. The Kings of Leon, their album was an NFT. You could buy it exclusively and have exclusive access to it. So
Didn't Wu-Tang did that with their album, and who bought Skrelly bought it, right? And then he got sued and he lost it. Something happened with him, like, or no, he went to jail. Yeah, he went to jail.
Forgot about that. Shit, that was like one of the earliest incarnations. Even that's wild. Shit. That guy was a douchebag. What a douchebag.
Sucks. But yeah, no. I mean, like, how would you guys NFT it though? Like, what would a whole episode, or what would it be? I don't even know. Where's your head at with this?
Well, there are people. There's that one guy. I don't know what the hell his name is, but he's on YouTube and he sold a collection of NFTs for like $35 million. And somebody bought it, dude. And all they are just quick videos that he makes. They're also digitally created, or he says things, and they're like all these things he said about Trump over the last 4 years, and they're just quick little videos, but you have exclusive access to them. You own them.
So weird.
Yeah, I think we're all just like,
that's ridiculous. Yeah,
we're all throwing our heads up in the air.
This the future, there's going to be some stuff that we can't wrap our minds around, but I feel like, again, it's oversaturated. Everything kind of came in at once, and the world is not ready for all of that. And it was so unnecessary. So NFTs, there are good ones, but they're few and far between relative to all the bad. So.
Well, either way, we'll see what we come up with. We can still just do a big-ass trophy, which I'm fine with doing. And whoever wins our Palazzo Podcast Invitational, which has 60 different members, you're going to get that trophy, whatever it is. Real quickly, I want to say thanks to our new followers on Twitter. We really appreciate you guys connecting with us. It's not bullshit, so I'm going to say your name so you know it's true. Daniel Iozo, welcome in. Or Iozo, I-O-Z-Z-O. Iozo, welcome to the party. At RunTMC, P361, RunTMC. Classic. That's Golden State Warriors' old school version, right, Deary?
Oh, yeah, it's classic. Love it. We
Mullins,
got Hardaway, Mitch Richmond,
and Mullins. Yeah, that was the big three back then.
Run TMC.
Although they never did shit, and the real Golden State Warriors are the ones now that have 3 titles. And thank you, Frank Gorham Jr. at Golican. Frank Gorham Jr. What a sweet name. I like that name. Big Heads Media, thank you very much. Access Twins, which is Brandon Warren, working with his SN MLB contributorship. Check that out. Access Twins if you want elite Twins information. And Eric Holmgren, not Mike Holmgren. Eric Holmgren, Grem, following us. Eric Stegen, Stegen. Alex Zander, Zander, and Len Rowantree at Becco Nuts on Twitter. Thanks so much, everybody. That's why we do the show. It's growing. We're meeting new people. We're talking fantasy baseball. So
I think you got all those names right. You did great. Now you just got to work on Kev's.
Yeah.
Give me one more time. One more time. Give it to me. On the spot.
I like it.
Say it fast.
Hang on. Mahserejian. Mahserejian.
Mahserejian.
Like, sound it out, honestly. You're not even looking at it.
You know what I'm doing now is I'm doing the frenetic thing you gave me. Yeah, the Moss, Air, Edge, Yawn.
Yeah, exactly. Just say that fast.
It's hard.
It's like a tongue twister at this point.
It is. It's crazy. It's got me like, it's making my gut nervous. It's weird.
See how, like, that's why I shortened it. Yeah, that's why I shortened it to My Surgeon. It was just so much easier for everyone. My Surgeon, that's it.
I'm not going out like that, though. I got to tell you. We got this guy from Alaska. Chad Samples from Alaska. Did you know that, Kev? Welcome.
I know about Anchorage, I guess. So,
have you been there?
No.
I have not been there either. Jasper's kicking back after a long day, relaxing. 2 L's, 2 Z's with me, Chris Deary, and Kev Moss. Edgion.
Yeah. Hey, you did it. Hit a buzzer for yourself. You're a winner now.
Damn! It's possible. How about that? Or how about this one?
When I first moved here, I blew Mr. Belvedere.
What? Jesus. What is this one?
Oh, that's from you guys. See if you can, this is an actor. Who is this?
When I first moved here, I blew Mr. Belvedere.
That's tough. That's a tough one. That's from Funny People, 2000 movie starring Adam Sandler.
Wait.
Yeah. This is.
Oh, so that's Seth Rogen?
That's correct.
When I first moved here, I blew Mr. Belvedere.
When he's talking to Aubrey Plaza. Yeah, because she talks about she had the sex with the guy from Yo Teach, and she was feeling
Yo Teach.
Yo Teach is fucking hilarious. I love that.
Classic. Everyone should check out Yo Teach.
Yes. I wish there was a whole, like, I think there's some extras on the DVD about Yo Teach where they have like an episode and shit. It's hilarious. It's so funny.
I used to watch Funny People all the time on like movie channels when I was a teenager because I thought, honestly, it was rated R. I was like 14, 15 at the time when it came out. And I was like, there's got to be boobs in this, and I just never saw boobs. But like, I don't know why. It's such a long movie, so I always came in at like halfway through, and I was like, okay, at some point in a rated R movie, it's coming in.
There are boobs in that movie. I can confirm that, by the way. So.
Okay, well,
there has to be though. That's always the standard. Like past like 2000, if there's boobs, it's rated R.
Yeah, when they come back from the
if there's dicks, it's rated R.
The MySpace event, and those 2 girls come back.
Oh yeah, you're right.
She's like, do the merman voice. Do the one of them. He has sex with 2 women because Seth Rogen's very shy, and he's a superstar. So hey, I guess that's what happens. You live in LA. You ever met a superstar?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I ran into D'Angelo Russell at Mastro's when we were going for like someone's birthday, but that was like, I didn't really say hi to him. My buddy went up to him and kind of gave him a bad dap, but that was about it. Oh, I ran into Larry King.
Yes!
Oh shit! There you go.
I forgot about that. He was outside. Yeah. Okay,
It's like outside huffing a heater or something.
Yeah, he was just chilling. TMZ was all around him, and then I was just hey, Larry King, and that's about it. Like, I didn't do much about that.
That is amazing. Larry King. Rest in power, my friend.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get into the good stuff here. Let's get into what we call leading off. All right, today's leading off segment, we do what we always do. We bring you the catch of the day and somebody who's probably kicking ass on the baseball diamond.
Good. Our first catch of the day.
Today, in my opinion, I wrote this yesterday because we were supposed to do the show yesterday, but we had internet disaster. Shit happens, but we're here now, so we're looking towards the present and the future. Adolis Garcia, as of yesterday, had 16 home runs. Did he hit another one today? It's very possible. Who the hell knows?
Probably not.
I don't think so.
I've been on the record. Deary's been on the record. Kev, you got to get on the record. Adolis Garcia, are you buying into this, or is it going to end soon, or is this a season-long party?
Okay, he's real in that he's a fantasy baseball asset going forward. I mean, if you didn't get the 16 home runs, I don't want to say you're shit out of luck, but you missed out on the best part. But you're still going to get some good production. This feels like a better Aristides Aquino from like a few years ago, where he's on a heater, but that high strikeout rate and that low walk rate are going to come bite him in the ass. He's not going to maintain an ISO above 300. The BABIP's pretty normal, but like it's that power. He's getting really lucky with that power right now. But that speed is real. He's going to keep stealing bases, and I feel like his production can be negated with maybe, he's going to lower his average. He's not going to be like a 280 hitter. He's not going to be on this crazy 50 home run pace or whatever he's on. But you're going to get some power, you're going to get some speed, and then the rest of the production comes in the form of the Rangers not being that bad. So he's real. He's not a sell for the sake of selling. He's not going to burn out, but yeah, no, he's not what this is.
Wow.
Well, you may run like Mays, but you hit like shit.
Hey, I think you can do both right now. What do you know, Lou Brown? Deary, anything changed on your opinions with Adolis Garcia?
No, I mean, Kev hit the nail on the head. Obviously, I stated a couple episodes ago that average will probably drop down closer to 250. He's going to strike out probably 175 times, but he's going to hit 40 home runs unless he gets injured. And I think the big key to that is the steals. He's got 5 of them right now. If he can give you 15 to 20, that's really, really good. What I want to know, does this guy have a nickname yet? This guy needs a nickname. Nothing yet?
Adolis.
Beefy.
Let me think about it. And I'll get something.
I thought you'd have something lined up with like bicep, beefy biceps.
Thunder God. I don't know. It's nuts. Yeah, those biceps are insane. They're tree trunks.
Honestly, like if you look at his minor league career, you don't see this coming. Like obviously you see the power, you see some speed, but he's never maintained numbers like this. But yeah, it's pretty shocking. Just like basically first stint in the MLB, or technically he's had 24 games before this, but this is insane. And it's another case of whatever Rosarena was on post Seattle. I can't describe it honestly. There's some weird anti-Cardinals black magic going on where players leave them and they're good now. So, I didn't see this coming whatsoever. I'm not perfect. I'm sure 99% of.
Wait.
Hey.
Where is it? There we go.
Yeah, no.
Shocking news.
Well, it's funny, we talked early in the season, who are those guys like post 350 ADP that could be top 50 players? I don't think he was ever mentioned at all before the season started. And then a couple weeks in, they're like, oh, this Adolis Garcia guy's hitting home runs, and he's been scooped up. He's like 90% owned in Yahoo leagues, which still always like amazes me. Like in Yahoo leagues, like how is in 10% of leagues he's not owned? Do people just draft leagues and then not do anything afterwards? Doesn't make sense.
That's it. That's what, or it's like really shallow leagues, or it has to be like dead leagues. Cause I'm pretty sure I've been in a league like when I was younger where it died 2, 3, 4 weeks in. So it's unfortunate, but that's, you got to take that into ownership.
Yeah. I'll give you a couple of things. You tell me rest of season. Would you rather have Adolis Garcia or Mark Canha?
Oh, that's the OBP league, Mark Canha for sure. in a roto league, honestly, I'd probably still take Kellnick because he's leading off in a better lineup, I want to say. Or the A's are, these are fine. But he's leading off, so you're going to get those runs for sure. The average, I'm sure, will stick between 250 and 260. Adolis can bottom out at any point. Like, that's the, kind of steals bases too. So it's not like he doesn't give you 5 categories. I don't want to say like 4 categories. That average isn't really helping you. But yeah, I'd probably take Kana, but it's close. It's very close.
Yeah, I love Kana a lot. I think especially in OBP all day. My home leagues are OBP, and I drafted him a lot higher because of it, because his value goes way up. So that's a no-brainer there. And I don't expect Adolis Garcia's average to stay up. That's not realistic in my opinion. But like you said, Kev, let it rain while it can. And that means that's a good thing. We're talking like, going to the club and letting it rain. Not, being on a baseball diamond where it would rain, it would be negative because you wouldn't be able to play baseball. But at a certain point, the tarp's going to come off the field, and Adolis Garcia is going to stink. What about Jared Kellnick? Would you rather have Jared Kellnick rest of the season?
Now, that's where it gets tough because isn't what Adolis Garcia is doing what you want from Jared Kellnick? And then, it's tough. Okay, the Mariners are in a weird position where they're not good. Obviously, they're not good. They're bringing up some of their young guys. They brought up Logan Gilbert. They brought up Kellnick. They still have a bunch of guys in the minors who can really help them in the future. Noel Marte, Julio Rodriguez, George Kirby. They have a lot of really high-end guys. But for this year, if they keep losing, they could sell Seager. They could sell Haniger. That's ugly. Yeah. That lineup could get really bad. Their home park's already not great for hitting. The Texas isn't great either, but they're more neutral than anything. So you already have a bad home park. You have a team that might not be competing. Texas, they have a bunch of guys that they have under control for a long time. They probably aren't really going to sell. And they don't have anyone to sell. Calhoun, Gallo's like their star player, basically. Lowe's like in his second or third year. So I think I'd rather buy into the Texas Rangers offense than the Mariners offense if it's coming down to a young guy. So yeah, I'd rather have Adolis Garcia than Kellnick.
Yeah, makes sense.
Chaz Sample, so you believe in Nate Lowe? What we're seeing is legit, or is he a little over his head? He slowed down a little bit. He did have a home run yesterday, but he's kind of slowed the last 2 weeks, I believe.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Lowe's not going to be a 300 hitter anytime soon, but he's definitely a high-end prospect. He was the Rays only let him go because they have such a roster crunch around their entire organization. So they have guys who are going to get relegated to a Rule 5 draft. And it's just, I don't get what they do. They gave away Lowe and Solak and someone else. Cronenworth. They gave away those 3 guys have produced as much WAR as 11 of their position players combined. Not named Arozarena, Zunino, and one other guy. I forgot. I think Meadows. I want to say. Oh no, Arozarena, Zunino, and someone else. I completely forgot. I'm blanking. But nevertheless, Lowe's real. There's no reason they should have traded him, and they should be playing. They should have kept him over G-Man Choi and Yandy Diaz. I don't get what they're doing really. But I guess they made it to the World Series. So what do I know? Lowe is for real.
Yeah, and they just got off of an 11-game winning streak. So I don't know how the Rays do it. We're amazed of all these great young talent that they get rid of, and then they just restock and do it again. And then they got guys in their team now. They're going to start to ball out, and then they'll probably trade those guys, and they'll still stay competitive. It's a total anomaly what they're able to do because no other organization can do what they do.
That is so fetch.
Hey, what the Rays do is fetch, and they make it happen. So however they do. But Chaz, yeah, Nate Lowe, he's a rock-solid player. What you're seeing from him is basically what you get. He will not hit 300 like Kev said, but he will provide you enough RBIs and power in the categories there, runs scored somewhat. So I don't think you should be cutting bait with him. If he continues to struggle, you might want to bench him for a while, but I still expect him to be good. And the steals are real. He can move. His sprint speed is above average. He's a solid sprint speed guy for a guy who plays first base. All right. Now you're hearing on the podcast version, of course, Return of the Man. Mark Morrison's finest.
There it is, Mike.
That's right. Mark Morrison. We love Mark Morrison here on the Hey, it's Rico Palazzo Fantasy Baseball Podcast, part of the Roto Fanatic Podcast Network. Don't forget 2 L's, 2 Z's.
Utah. Give me 2.
That's how you spell it every time. Return of the Mac. Every time we do this, we talk about players on the mend or who will be getting the call. And, yesterday we would have been 1 day short, but today we got to see Alec Manoah make his debut for the Jays, and he was damn fine. So, clearly he's good. because he was already a highly touted prospect. I'm not going to ask you that, Kev. That's boring. That's radio for nobody. But are we looking at a full season impact here? The Jays do have playoff aspirations. They're trying to take that next leap forward. And now Nate Pearson looks to be the guy who's out. Like, they can't count on him. Maybe Alek Manoah is the young stud prospect who steps into the rotation to provide stability.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm in on Manoah. I think he should be owned in like just about every team possible. Like unless you're in, again, a shallow league where you're dropping Zach Eflin for Manoah. Like I wouldn't do that, but yeah, Manoah should be rostered today. I don't want to say it's an aberration, but it's definitely not representative of what he's gonna be going forward. He's not gonna be like a 3 base runner allowed in 6 innings with 7 Ks every outing. That's not what he's gonna do. But you know, he has great control. He has great stuff. He was a first-round prospect. He's got a fantastic slider, so his out pitch is great. He's all four-seam fastball slider, and those 2 pitches are plus. And we're working with a guy who is in an organization that, you know, they're kind of up and coming. Like we're looking at the Blue Jays, they're winning games, so he can get some wins if he goes 5 innings. The Ks are going to be there. He's going to keep his walks relatively low. He was killing it in AAA too, so. If you look at Manoah, he killed it in one of the most offensive-friendly environments. I'm all in, but I don't want to take this outing against a Yankees lineup with only 2 guys above 700 in their OPS as what it's going to be, but I am starting him next week versus the Marlins.
Yeah, what do you think, Deary? The Yankees have been, decimated. Luke Voigt's gone now, and Stanton's still out.
What a shock. Yeah, everyone's injured. It's just the makeup of all of my fantasy teams. Everybody's injured. Yeah, I mean, with Manoah, the concern is going to be innings. Certainly, he hasn't pitched many innings in the minors. I mean, he pitched a little bit in 19, then obviously nothing last year. And then he had 18 innings, in AAA before they brought him up. Guy's 6'6", so he's a monster. He's got a really, really good fastball, and like he said, that plus slider. But he's going to help you out now, so he's going to help you out to get towards that playoff run. The Jays are going to be in it, so maybe they baby him a little bit, and he doesn't pitch 100 pitches every game. He's not going into the 6th, 7th inning. I'm really interested to see what he does next week because it was fantastic what he did today. But the guy's got the makeup, so he's going to be helping a lot of teams out. So I would certainly scoop him up.
Yeah, I saw him today in his post-interview talking about his family very eloquently, I might add, how important they were to him and how proud and grateful he was. This guy is wide. I swear, he looked like David Wells to me. Like there was an upper close shot in terms of his broad shoulders and like this. It's a big dude. He's a lot bigger than I thought he was beyond his height. This guy has a lot of power behind that he can really rear up and throw some gas. I just never seen a picture of him before, I guess. It was weird. It's weird when I'll be honest, you read numbers, you look at stats, you look at box scores, you read scouting reports, but I don't always see the guys. You don't always get to see the minor league video of every player, and I had never seen him before. So it's kind of fun when you see somebody for the first time and you have this idea of what they might look like. And then it's total opposite. The guy blew me away. I was totally impressed. Like, that guy is a badass. I'm in on that guy.
It's like a Luis Patino when if you never looked at how tall he was and how much he weighed, and you're like, oh wow, this guy throws like 99, 100. He's got like amazing stuff, and then you see him on the screen, and we're like, wait a minute, this guy's really, really short. How does he gear it up that fast?
Most impressive, without a doubt. All right, so yes, Manoah, I don't think anybody's going to be negative on him for now. It's all positive returns. But Devi Garcia is going to start this weekend against our hometown team.
Go Tigers.
Obviously, there's interest, but do we expect Devi to stick, Kev, or is this just like a one-off? Because he already came up once and then went right back down.
Yeah, I think I'm not really in on Devi Garcia this year. I know there's a lot of hype around him around draft season, but he's still really young. He's 22 years old, and it's just he really hasn't had it. Manoah's a year younger, so it's not like he's that much old. But I mean, Manoah's a year older, and so it's not like there's that much of a difference. But some guys, the minor league numbers aren't that promising. He seems there's a lot of, I don't want to say a lot of talk, but I've heard a lot of talk about sometimes about him as a reliever possibly in the future, maybe like a fireballer that comes in the middle innings. But as of right now, I'm not really interested in Devi Garcia as a starter, maybe like as an inning filler. But yeah, I'm not too interested. I'm not picking him up even against the Tigers. Like he's had some walk issues this year, and I know it's it's like a short sample, but I just don't like what I see.
The bottom line right there, Kev. I like it.
This guy's 5'9".
Ooh.
Garcia's 5'9". I mean, Yankees have. I mean, they got issues. I mean, Kluber just went to the DL. I mean, besides Garrett Cole, you never know what you're going to get from Tyon. Montgomery's had a couple good starts in a row, and Herman's hit or miss. I'm still waiting for the Yankees to make that trade next month to go out and get a top line starter to help out this rotation because they're in the race. I mean, this is a 4-team race now in the AL East, which is really, really fascinating.
Yeah, that is true. Luis Patino will be back sooner than maybe people thought. It was a laceration on his finger, but it wasn't that big a deal. So he should be ready to go as soon as he come off the IL. He threw a side session on Wednesday. Things are looking up. So get ready to maybe pop him back in your lineups for sure next week on Monday. But if you have the ability, you play in daily leagues, this weekend will also be available to you. Cabrian Hayes, he hit a home run this week, starting his rehab assignment. It's going to be a little bit of a slower process still, I think, before we see him. Maybe next week he'll be back in the bigs, maybe. I know they want to be very cautious. Cabrian Hayes got really hyped big time. Deary, I'll go to you first. Where do you stand on Cabrian Hayes? Is this somebody you would try to acquire now if you don't have him, or no?
Oh, I have him. I'm just waiting for him to get off the IL. I mean, he came back for a short stint, went right back to the IL. So I'm excited for him. I'm interested to see if last year was just a mirage. I mean, he was absolutely unbelievable. People did not see that power coming, and it was there last year. In terms of going to scoop him up, I'm not sure. Like in a league, I mean, it's somewhat of a thin position in a lot of different areas. He can give you, 5 cats on the up end, but I think it's going to take him a couple weeks. But if you want to buy low on him, you might be able to buy low on him if people don't think it's going to be real, but also people might be selling a little high. So maybe wait a couple weeks. If he starts off really slow, that might be a good time to scoop him up. I think he's going to be a very, very good fantasy asset moving forward. Maybe not the rest of this year, but the guy has the talent to be a superstar down the road. And, hey, the Pirates have other guys that can do well. I mean, it's a shitty team, but they have enough players like fantasy options out there. I mean, guys that you can go and scoop up like a Brian Reynolds. He had a home run today. There's a couple of other guys out there. So I'm excited to have him come back. The Pirates need him. This guy's, the superstar of the future for them. So I'm excited to see what he does as he gets back into that lineup.
Are you insane?
Yep.
Kev, do you agree with Deary or not?
I mean, it all depends on how his wrist is. I don't like that he had a issue when he was trying to come back. And if he's on your waiver wire, yeah, he has the upside. There's probably not many guys like Cabrian Hayes available. So, and especially with bats, pitchers usually they're fairly fungible. You can get guys in and out, but yeah, I mean, if you have an IL spot open and Cabrian Hayes is out there for some reason, yeah, I'd definitely add him. But if you're in a 10-team league, I'm not feeling too hot about it. Again, it's the Pirates too, so their lineup's not as bad as we thought, with Frazier hitting 335 essentially, and Reynolds, as you mentioned, hitting really well too. He's probably their best bat. But with Hayes, it's like I wouldn't expect too much, but I would pick him up for the upside.
Everybody loves upside. Can't get enough of it. All right. Giancarlo Stanton should be back tomorrow. He'll be playing this weekend again for the New York Yankees against our Detroit Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Michael Walker's back. Carson Kelly's back. Adalberto Mondesi's back, Deary. Finally, he's here. This is the first time that we can actually see him play again, so we'll see how long that lasts. Adalberto Mondesi is a guy that brings a lot of speculation, fear, chaos. I don't know. This is a guy that brings a lot of chatter. Are you a fan, Kev, or is he more of a myth than a reality?
I mean, Giancarlo Stanton for the past 3 years now has been a figment of our imagination. What can you say? Like this, if anytime he gets injured, I'm like, this is the start of the end. So I do want to think that he's fully healthy now, and this was just a minor quad strain, but it's like, oh, it's a minor quad strain. And then he tries to overcompensate, and then it's a calf strain, and then he tries to overcompensate for that for when he returns, and then it's his wrist. And you're just like, how the hell did this anatomy doesn't work like that? But he's so massive that I don't know what to tell you. I love Giancarlo Stanton. I love watching him, but I can't, in fantasy, I can't buy in anymore. Him and Judge, honestly. Judge too. They're just too big. I think that's the problem. Literally, they should do. There's
been articles written about that.
They're too big.
Yeah, no,
it's true. It's what my wife's a massive Yankee fan. She says it every time. She's like, I don't want to draft these guys in fantasy because they're too fucking big and they're going to get injured. Like, it's not built to be able to stop and start and swing as hard as some of these guys do. And that's why they're on the DL all the time.
Yeah, I wish my girlfriend would say that about me.
We're live.
Too big.
Hey, boo. 5 stars. We're talking live here with Kev, the Rotosurgeon. Follow him at Twitter, at Rotosurgeon. Both of those things are true. He's the host of The Operating Room. Make sure you guys check out the podcast, download the podcast. I assume it's available on all standard podcast platforms. Is it not?
Yes, it is.
It is. That's right. So it's me, Christopher Deary, and Kev Mahserejian talking live about fantasy baseball stuff. Deary, Alberto Mondesi, yes or no?
No, he's just gonna re-injure himself. He's gonna hurt his legs again because all he can do is steal. I don't believe in plus 15 power. I do not believe in him batting 260 to 280. Like, I don't see that. It's steals. That was like the big silver stick that everybody wanted, is like, oh, I need Alberto Mondesi because he's going to steal all the bases for me. That's
I'm
why
going to
everybody
climb out of the cellar now in Palazzo Invitational.
It's why everybody was drafting him in the second or third round. He's just not a second, third round talent. Like, sure, the upside is 60 bases, but that's not going to happen because he's already missed a ton of time. So sure. And maybe a head-to-head league, he might be able to help you out, like, in a week or something like that, where he might be able to steal 4 or 5 bags in a week. But I just don't trust with him. I just don't think he's going to be able to get on base enough. So it's why I stayed away preseason, and I'm staying away again.
Fair enough. I can understand that. What about this? Chaz Samples jumping in here. Kev.
Here we go.
I have too many starting pitchers now, so I have to decide to drop one. The choices are Spencer Turnbull, James Kaprielian, or Chris Paddock. Who do you drop, Kev?
It's Spencer Turnbull. You dropped Spencer Turnbull. Like, he's on a bad team. Whoa. I mean, have you seen Paddock recently? Paddock's been really good. He's allowed like 1 run or less in each of his last 5 starts, I want to say. And that one bad start he had with 5 earned runs, it was BS. There was an error, and then they unenforced the. I forgot what happened with the error, but he's been good.
Turnbull's been really good though recently, man. Did you hear that?
Who cares? Who did he throw it against? Remind me.
Seattle?
Yeah, I don't care. There's been 2 no-hitters thrown against Seattle this year.
Which in that game, Seattle's team batting average was below 200, I think, in like the 7th inning.
Yeah, no, I don't care about Spencer Turnbull. James Kaprielian, former first-round pick. He has upside. Turnbull's a jag. He's fine. Like, he's going to get you a 4.20 or something ERA with like an okay-ish whip, but the Ks aren't really going to be there that well. Like, I like him in like a season-long 15-team league where you need innings, but he's not someone you want to roster in a home league, really, or outside of streaming.
Ridiculous, but I respect your opinion. I'd like to keep Turnbull. Paddock's on a roll, though, so my only concern is Kaprielian's opportunity to play. Is he going to be starting continuously? And even if he is starting, they seem to spread out the starts on Oakland. So that's my concern right there. I could trust Turnbull and Paddock to go every turn. If you're looking for reliability, I take those 2. That's my opinion. Deary?
Yeah, it's probably Kaprielian out for me right now, just because I haven't seen enough. I just haven't seen enough. Obviously,
Tigers bias, Deary. We're out of control.
Go Tigers!
I mean, obviously, he's a big time prospect, and he's looked really good through his first couple of starts. But I mean, I got to see it longer than that. Turnbull, I mean, what we saw in 2019 was not the real Turnbull. He looked a lot better last year, and that no-hitter was not a fluke. I know it was against Seattle, but he looked really, really good. Fastball was still up to 96, 97 in the 9th inning. Kev talked about that ERA being around 4.20 at the end of the season. That's fair. I think it's going to be a touch below that. Now, if you're in a wins league, like, he's not going to give you double-digit wins. He's 3-2 right now. He's probably going to get maybe 7-8 wins just because the Tigers are not going to score for you. But good streaming option against teams like the Mariners, the Pirates, and if the Tigers could play the Tigers, I mean, Turnbull will probably have 4 no-hitters.
I mean, if I could pitch against the Tigers, I'd throw a couple no-hitters. But let's be honest. I'm looking at Turnbull's starts this year. Okay. Pirates, Royals, Yankees, Red Sox, Royals, Mariners, Cleveland. He only went 3 innings versus the Red Sox. The Yankees, he allowed 4 runs in 5 innings. Every other start is his good start. So you're looking at bottom 7-8 offenses that he's pitched against, and he has pitched well. I'm not going to say he hasn't, but fact of the matter is he's had such easy matchups. We would not be talking about him like this if it were not for this stretch. It's similar to what Zach Plesac did last year, where everyone was buying him as a top 70 pick because he had this incredibly easy stretch with a ton of Tigers matchups and whatnot. So that's what Spencer Turnbull feels like at this moment. Kaprielian, yes, he has not, like, his peripheral numbers aren't fantastic, but he has the upside. He has better stuff than Turnbull, and he pitches in a great home park Comerica is actually tough to pitch in. It's like one of the top 10 hitters marks. Like, I don't even know that. I thought, but then I realized it's just because the Tigers' offense is so bad.
Yeah.
Just because the Tigers' offense is so bad, it makes their hitters look bad. I mean, their hitters make themselves look bad, so it's not about the park.
And also, do you want to pick up Turnbull and then have to watch a fucking Tigers game?
No.
Oh, Mike Curlin checking in. Not sure how I feel about the stash, Kev. Turns me on and off at the same time. Wow.
I mean, hey, as long as it gets you on for just that little bit of time, that's all I need.
That's true. That's true. Just get them in the door, right? That's what we're doing here. That's good stuff. All right, let's talk
I like it. I think it's solid. A nice little
Yeah.
Armenian stash.
I think it's sexy as fuck, and I never had any doubts about it, but that's my opinion. Jasper is shitting on Turnbull, too. Fuck all you guys, all right? You guys don't know what you're talking about. No, but it's true. He won't strike out as many guys as you would like. I do agree with that. If you're looking for K's, yeah, Caprillion and Mr. Paddock, who has seemed to correct his wrongs, they're probably going to be higher strikeout guys. I'll give you that. Turnbull's a guy that I think is just reliable. I don't think he'll blow you up too much. I really don't, especially because the Central Division has just gone to shit. Minnesota sucks. Cleveland's offense sucks. Kansas City's up or down, you never know. And the White Sox, even though they're good, their offense isn't amazing. Their pitching has been really good.
The offense is fine. I recently looked it up. They're actually like top team against lefties, and then righties, they're top 10-ish. So they're just weird.
Fuck all you guys.
Yeah, no, Mike, I don't know what Mike's harassing me. Like, I feel like I'm gonna file a complaint. This is he's been attacking me. God damn it.
What a dick.
Yeah, he just gets on so he can pull some good sound bites. I love it. Great job.
Because he's going all audio soon, or no, all video or whatever. So, more power to him. This is a new shtick.
Mike always has 10,000 ideas. You never know. He's in everything. One week he'll be in a podcast. Next week he's writing. The week after that it's all video. But he is mounted his monitors, so I'm expecting good things.
Beautiful.
Mike, keep it up. You know we love you. You're a good man. Do it! All right, real quickly, let's talk about Framber Valdez. Everybody's talking about him in the chat here. I picked up Framber. I've been saving Framber. He's going to start tomorrow against Paddock's Padres live. He's ready to go. And it turns out the early season reporting about him being out for the year was wildly inaccurate. So, Kev, there's no reason but to let him loose, right? Put him in your lineups and just let it flow, or are you going to be hesitant?
I mean, okay, tomorrow's Thursday. Okay, wait, did they play the Padres tomorrow?
Friday.
Or?
Remember, we're on Thursday. We should have recorded yesterday, but
it's
Friday.
Thursday. I completely forgot what day
Right,
it is.
see?
Okay, yeah. So Machado should be back tomorrow. The Padres aren't really that good against left-handed pitching, but they've had some weird guys in and out, like Tatis missed like 15, 20 days or whatever. But I probably wouldn't start him in his first game back just because a finger issue on his throwing hand is concerning. And again, there were those faulty reports that he was going to miss the whole season. So whatever happened, there was something weird. I mean, it's not like he has some crazy track record. He was really good for his his last year, but I'd play it safe. I just leave him on my bench and see what he does.
There's nothing wrong with that. Deary, are you all in right now, or are you going to follow Kev's lead?
No, it's probably the same thing. I mean, I stayed away from him. I know he was a hot name in the preseason. I kind of stayed away from him. I actually liked Urquidy ahead of the season over him. What I don't like is he's just a straight fastball curveball guy. He doesn't really throw that changeup enough. Fastball's 93 miles per hour. He throws that curveball 33% of the time. It's going to be really interesting to see. I think he might have some problems with some control coming back from that fractured finger, but certainly keep an eye on it because I think he does give some pretty decent value if you can get on a good run here.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again, guys. When it comes to any player decision, you got to know.
Good. Our first cut.
Nope, wrong button. Ha ha. Let's try this one. Nope, that's the wrong button, too. I ruined it.
You need a producer. You need someone else to do this for you.
I'm usually... Oh, come on. Oh, here we go.
Get a roommate.
There we go. This sums up that segment right there. Thanks, Gilbert. Who doesn't love Gilbert Gottfried? He's the best. Actually, I was going to say, when it comes to any player, this is still very important information for all of you guys. If you're going to put him in, you're going to bench him, you're going to wait and see, go Kev's route, go Deary's route, avoid them altogether. You always got to know.
Always know if the juice is worth the squeeze.
It's that simple, guys. Keep it simple. Is the juice worth the squeeze? This is the Hans Rico Palazzo Fantasy Baseball Podcast, part of the Roto Fanatic Podcast Network. Don't forget 2 L's, 2 Z's.
Utah. Give me 2.
Palazzo Podcast at protonmail.com if you want to send us an email. Deary, we're going to have a cool guest on soon. I don't know if it's going to be next week or the week after, but he works with the St. Louis Cardinals. and their medical department. I'm really excited for this. It's cool. I'm not going to spoil it yet, but it looks like he's going to be coming on soon. This will be a different kind of episode, but I think it'll be fun.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. So
next Wednesday, I'm good. I'm out tomorrow, and I'm out next weekend. So
yeah, you got a busy life coming up, and you should be living your life. But we could be getting catfish at the same time. Who knows? I mean,
oh no,
you ever been catfished, Kev?
Anymore.
At a party where I took her outside and I saw her and I was like, oh God, what have I done? And then I don't know if that's not like a catfish. That's
beer
not
goggles is different.
It's happened to all of us.
It was dark. It was dark inside. So we hooked up and then I went outside and I was just like,
great.
oh my God. And then I think I said my friend was at Jack in the Box. So I don't know. I looked up a local Jack in the Box and I walked there and I got an Uber or something. It was just ridiculous.
Wow.
I was in college. This was a few years back. So, hopefully my girlfriend doesn't hear this, but yeah, no, it's been a while.
There's no Uber when we were in college. That's unfortunate. A total free for all. They're calling a taxi. Who knows what you're getting into?
Yeah, no, I don't even know what a taxi is.
One time we left a party at Michigan State in 2001 and it was 45 minutes to where I lived and we hitchhiked on Grand River, right there on Michigan State's campus, like 3:30 in the morning. Me and my friend Dave, we jumped in some guy's truck, and he drove us all the way home. He said he was a narcoleptic, and he could pass out at any second. Really bizarre stuff, but we survived.
You could do that in the early 2000s.
It was still weird. Yeah, you could do that. It was still not recommended. But all I know is that everybody needs some good loving. There's no doubt about it. If Woody had gone straight to the police, this never would have happened. What does that mean?
What's that reference?
Something? I don't know. Do you know this reference, Kev? I think you're muted. I think you muted yourself.
Sorry. Yeah, Toy Story is my best guess.
Yeah, that's all I got too. Or Woody Harrelson in some movie. I don't know.
The only ones
fill us in, Brian. Come on, you're like our number one listener. Sox stranded 13 yesterday. Mercedes had bases loaded 3 times.
Oh
nothing.
God.
It'll happen. It'll happen.
It's me when I play MLB The Show.
Oh God.
Oh my God. I don't know what's going on. Let's get this back on track. It's time now. Yeah. Palazzo Podcast, ProtonMail.com, Palazzo Podcast, part of the Roto Fanatic Podcast Network. Go to rotofanatic.com. Check out that article by Paul Mamino. It's all about everyone's favorite pitcher in the world. Anybody guess?
Trevor Bauer.
Sonny Gray.
No, it's about close. It rhymes with Gray. It's Robbie Ray. Check out the GPS report about Robbie Ray. GPS report. Paul does it every Thursday on rotofanatic.com. All right, it's time to throw baseball at the mix. It's time for Kev Mahserejian to go inside.
You're getting better.
I got the words right. The Mahserejian, right?
Mahserejian. Yeah, close enough, but yeah.
See, that's the thing. It's that pause with Mahserejian. There's a pause right there.
Mahserejian.
Did I fucking write it down wrong? I did. God damn it. I did write. Whatever. All right. I think you're a great guy, and I think you're an excellent fantasy baseball analyst regardless. But I am never, if I ever thought I was going to get a broadcasting job, this show has ruined all future opportunities for me. But that's okay, because I love doing this show, and I love talking baseball with all you guys. And that's why we do Enrico's Inquisition. Hit it! Would you prefer to deal with a manipulative person or a callous person?
Wow, this is deep into my psyche.
Alan Trammell or Lou Whitaker?
Oh, I knew you were going to hit me with that.
The 1988 Dodgers or the 2020 Dodgers?
Oh, the 1988, by far. It was the happiest moment of my sports life. That was my first gut moment.
Nelly, get ready for some doozies, because it's time for everybody's favorite part of the show, Enrico's Inquisition.
Well, gentlemen, I can't thank you enough for coming out here this evening.
All right, we're in Enrico's Inquisition. Kev, right off the bat, musical influences, musical artists you love. It could be a group, it could be a single artist, anybody. Give me a couple of them. Fire them at me. Let's go.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm very... I'm open to a lot of different genres for the most part. I don't listen to any country music, so any influence. I mean, I grew up, my first couple albums were like The Offspring and System of a Down. Were like early Linkin Park, I guess, because mid 2000s. Sure. Very much okay. Anything on K-Rock or like those Red Hot Chili Peppers, very much so. I grew up with Blood Sugar Sex Magic. My mom was playing it in the car all the time. So, and then I got into more new metal. So like, Rage Against the Machine's not new metal, but
how dare you?
Yeah, I mean, that era of music. So what's it called? Nine Inch Nails. I loved Tool. I love Tool. So all of those were like my early influences. And then like I listen to everything now, like rock wise, rap wise. I'll listen to some old like classic rock. Yeah, that's basically like rock and rap with like every web of those two genres.
A couple of your favorite rap artists.
Young Thug. I love what's it called? Oh my god, that's a couple of my favorite. Oh my god, that's hard off the bat. Honestly, like I listen to almost everything. That's the Wu-Tang. We mentioned Wu-Tang earlier. I love them, and they're like the subsidiaries, like Jizza, Raekwon, Ghostface Killah. Like I love all their individual albums. Method Man.
Name them all. Here we go. Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying, it's like all of those, like New York rap. I think I prefer New York rap to LA rap, but like Kendrick Lamar, I think that was the first album I purchased with like my own money, maybe. Good Kid, Mad City, or I went to the store. No, I've done that. No, I did that before. No, I'm lying. But regardless, like I have a very, I don't want to say diverse taste because, it's not like I like the most experimental shit, but I'll listen to almost everything within certain realms.
I'm so jealous that your mom turned you on to Blood Sugar Sex Magic. I don't think that was happening in my car in the 80s when my mom was playing like Barry Manilow or something like that. I mean, she did listen to like the Stones and the Beatles, but there was no way she was listening to the Chili Peppers. So that's righteous.
Yeah. It was that and Americana and Conspiracy of One. Those CDs were on replay. Yeah, those CDs were on replay in my house. And my house.
Loves Offspring.
Yeah.
What?
You love the Offspring.
I don't mind. I like their first couple albums. Yeah, when I was like 18, 19, I love them. Yeah.
Yeah, you love them more than I do. That's what I mean to say. Okay. So. And I mean, they're Self-Esteem, that was fun, all that stuff, but I never was that big into it. But you've seen them live, haven't you?
I never saw them live. No.
Oh, fuck. Well,
I think you're thinking of some other pseudo.
I don't know. Apparently, I'm not myself today. I don't even know anyone's name. I don't know where you've been. I've known you for like 15 years, so who the hell knows what's happening? All I know is Sam Jacobowitz is in the house. Good to see you, Sam. It's been a while. Sam is always bringing his trade props and his trade successes onto the show, so I'm sure we'll hear about that soon enough. But we're talking with Kev here. Kev, this is a podcast that is unofficially, but officially the fantasy baseball podcast of Russell Crowe. Okay. And in the spirit of that, going back to the beginning of this year, Master and Commander has been one of our staple gifts. Our main man, Russell Withers, one of our best, most coolest dudes who loves the show, but he's also got his own shit going on. Check it out at Armchair Roto on Twitter. He's got his own website, armchairroto.com. He's really, really, really funny, and he knows fantasy baseball. But have you ever seen Master and Commander? And if so, would you prefer it to the TV show Survivor? That's what I want to know.
I'm going to be honest, I've not seen either of those, but I was watching The Man Show skit, and they had the Masturbator and Commander, and that was pretty fun. I forgot what that was. God. I think it was The Man Show. It was, what's it called? Fuck.
It probably was. That sounds like The Man Show. That was a long time ago, but I bet there's a rerun somewhere on some
I don't
TV
think you
network.
could do that show these days. Not in 2021.
No.
Yeah, no. It was definitely on late night when I'd be watching TV and like my parents were gone. I'd watch like The Man Show and like, it was Jimmy Kimmel and what the fuck was his name? The other
yeah, of course, the guy. Adam
the
Carolla.
Guy.
Adam
Carolla. Yeah. So like I don't know, like he was the master in that skit. So that's the old back to Master and Commander. That's all I know of it.
Actually, Masturbator and Commander is on a Family Guy episode. They're watching TV and they go, "We now return to Masturbator and Commander." So that's also a thing too. Just saying.
Yeah, that might have been. It might have been both. I don't. It's an easy. That's an easy one. Like honestly.
But you've never seen Survivor. I like that. That makes me
Never.
feel good.
I haven't seen Survivor. I haven't seen like Lost. I guess those two popular series. Like, I think they're different shows, but they all seem the same to me.
Yeah,
you're not missing much.
No thanks. Eat that, Doug Ishikawa. How about that? Doug loves him some Survivor, and he is the next Jeff Probst. There's no argument here, but Survivor sucks. Even though Justin Mason just watched all 40 fucking seasons of Survivor and posted about it on Twitter yesterday. That blew my mind, Gary.
40 seasons?
Well, yeah, because they do like couple seasons a year.
I was gonna say that's
easy to knock out.
The year I was born.
No,
is it like The Bachelor, where they have like The Bachelorette, and then they have Paradise, and so it has to be like that.
Yeah, it's like Survivor West Coast, Survivor. I don't know.
How
West
come they
Nile,
never did like Survivor in like the inner city or something like that? Like, or in the woods. They're always or like in the woods. Like
that is fucking hilarious. I would love to see that show. And it makes me think of what was that movie? Judgment Night. Remember that movie, Mike? I do remember that movie. The soundtrack was incredibly. It was a unique soundtrack because it melded kind of like the Rage. I think Rage was on that soundtrack, weren't they?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because it was
what
like
movies do you guys watch?
This movie is
we were born in 1980, so it's
yeah.
Oh, you guys are
we're old.
Yeah, I'm 40.
You guys are like the later generation of millennial. I'm like the younger generation of it. So we're pretty far apart here.
Oh,
very much
26.
I'm 27, so I just turned 27
close.
actually, so very close.
So you were 26. All right.
I was 26.
I knew I stored that somewhere. I knew it.
Look at you.
All right.
Look at the big brain on Michael.
Well, I mean, I have my moments, obviously. Yeah. All right, we're live here in Enrico's Inquisition. We're with Kev Mahserejian talking about random shit. That's what we do here.
Random shit. There you go.
Would you rather be stabbed or would you rather be arrested?
Arrested easily. I think being stabbed is one of my biggest fears, so I do not want to be stabbed. I almost got arrested once, but it was for like a group thing, so that doesn't count.
The group arrest.
I don't know if that sounds better or worse. Actually, could be.
I didn't do anything wrong. It was we had weapons and we were doing like some ceremony thing. So but it was like swords. We didn't have like guns. It was like a weird thing.
It was LARP. They were LARPing.
It was LARP. We were not LARPing. It was like a weird. It was like a like a fraternity ritual ceremony where we had like weird shit. So that's not like I'm not revealing too much there, but yeah, it's we like the cops stopped us in the middle of the street. They're like, "What the fuck are you guys doing with swords?" And then they're like "Get your IDs out," and we're just like, "God damn it!" But yeah, no, arrested all day. Arrested. I'd rather be in jail.
Yeah, nobody. You don't want to be thrown away. You don't want to be.
That one is long gone.
Won't see him for years. But we'd rather just get the stabbing over with and move forward. I think, right?
No, I'd rather just get arrested.
Oh, Mike Curlin's jumping in. I have been arrested before when I was 15. No shit. Good for you.
That doesn't count. Your parents pick you up and
arrested for being too cute.
Liquid Swords, great album.
It is one of my favorite. I think that's the top 5 album for me. Like all
hey,
time.
Hell yeah! All right, now we're getting somewhere. By the way, Deary's right, Mike. If you've been arrested when you're underage, it doesn't technically count because you're a minor and you can get it expunged. You got to go to real jail post 18, right, Deary?
You got to spend at least one night in the drunk tank.
Yeah. No, I did 10 days in real jail. I got out in 8 days though for good behavior. So
hey,
yeah, look at me on top of the world, huh?
I don't know who listens to this, so I won't talk about my arrest record.
Yeah, that's fine. I got arrested, not you. It was me. So, oh yes, some guy was scared of Mike's dad. What the fuck? I don't know what's going on.
No, I was scared. He was scared shitless. No, my buddy was 18. Whatever. That's weird.
Well, we wish you the best, Curlin. This is not your Inquisition; it's Kev's. So we appreciate your commentary.
I'm waiting for Curlin to call the phone number again.
Call the hotline.
Oh boy, I disconnected the Bluetooth, but we could always do that if he calls. Kev, fastballs, curveballs, sliders, or changeups? Which is your favorite pitch of the 3?
Okay, I used to like a good 12-6 curve, like in MVP Baseball 2005. That was my go-to pitch.
Oh yeah, we're big fans of that game here.
I've learned to love changeups. Changeups, like a good circle change or anything in that realm, I'm a big fan of. I love the movement. Really, I don't know. I appreciate changeups more. I think that's like as you get older, you start to see the movement better. Oh hell yeah, it's downstairs for me. It's literally in my garage.
Yep. So good.
But yeah, no, those I loved knuckle curves as well. Like anything different, like circle changes, knuckle curves. But like right now, changeup. When I was a kid, curveballs.
Is there a pitcher in particular that you're like, oh man, that was the pitch?
Oh, okay. I think it was Roy Oswalt who I'd play as a ton.
Oh, well, that's a new one.
Big fan. I was a big fan of his back with the Astros days. And then Halladay, obviously, Halladay was amazing. So those two guys were some of my favorites to use in MVP Baseball particularly, and their pitch mixes were incredible. But yeah, I don't play this show too much, so I really don't have a good I mean, I know what pitchers throw, but I don't really have a favorite in that sense.
Yeah, no one said Roy Oswalt. That is fantastic. That's a fresh one. And I gotta commend you on that one. We love new pitchers that don't get a lot of pub on the show. You gotta tell me though, what is so amazing about Olivia Rodrigo's album?
Oh my God, I've been meaning to talk about this. So Olivia Rodrigo, this sounds weird coming from me, but like she's like the next big thing with Disney pop stars, and she released a really good album, Sour. It's, I'm not a promoter for it, but I listened to it front to back yesterday. I just wanted to give it a spin because I like to give any major like number 1 album a spin. Just to, I don't want to miss out. I want to see what all the hype's about. And honestly, if you like teeny bop kind of drama, if you like a toned down Paramore or kind of a better Taylor Swift, that's kind of what it is. I don't like Taylor Swift. I really like Paramore, but I don't like all of Paramore. This is kind of a good mix where it's like angsty, but it's not, I don't want to say relatable. It's not relatable to me, but it's good music. The tunes are good. Her singing's really good. And it's simple. And it's a 30-minute album. It's really easy to get through. So I don't know. I felt like tweeting about it and I did.
It's really easy to get through.
Yeah.
What did you have? A few drinks this morning?
I mean, okay, if you listen to a Tool album, that's an hour and a half. Like, you really have to like
6
Tool.
songs, an hour and a half.
Yeah, like literally. And I really like Tool, so I could get through it, but I'm not going to listen to like any 55-minute, hour-long album from just a Joe Schmo pop star. So you know what I mean?
I understand.
Whatever, motherfucker!
All I know is, in the end, go with what you like. Deary knows me well. He knows I don't have any guilty pleasures. I listen to what I listen to. I like what I like, and I don't give a shit what anybody says. I don't know what the term means. I know what it means technically, but I don't subscribe to that. I love Christopher Cross. He's great.
Yeah, you turned me on to this idea of guilty pleasures don't exist when it comes to like movies or music or any type of entertainment. You like what you like, and I've been going with that ethic for a couple of years now.
It's your pleasure, honestly. My friends and I ironically listened to Vanessa Carlton's 1,000 Miles in high school, and like we play, like from White Chicks, like you start, and then you're like, damn, this song's kind of good, and then it doesn't matter. Like I watch chick flicks with my girlfriend, and they're not chick flicks, they're just romantic comedies, and they're good. Like it's sometimes you could just enjoy it. It's candy. It's like, who cares? It's like, it's not really that bad for you either. It's like, as long as you have it in like short spurts, who cares? It's not my. Yeah, no, it's fun.
Moments like this, I'm so glad that we got you on the show.
Man, I'm glad I called that guy.
That guy.
Definitely worked out. We're talking live here on the Hayes and Rico Palazzo Fantasy Baseball Podcast, which is part of the Roto Fanatic Podcast Network, here with the operating room host at Roto Surgeon on Twitter, Kev Mahserejian. Kev,
you got it. You're good.
And we are talking inside Enrico's Inquisition. A couple more here. We'll close it out. Puppies or cats? Or kitties?
Oh, puppies all day. Actually, Spike.
Hey, what we got?
Spike.
Oh my God, Deary, it's a Spike.
His name is Spike.
His name is Spike.
Amazing.
Oh my God, Christina's gonna freak out. That's awesome. They had a dog forever named Spike. It was the oldest dog that ever lived. It's crazy.
Yeah, he passed away last year. He was like 109
I'm sorry,
years
man.
old.
I'm sorry to hear that.
No, but trust me, he had a full life.
He had the fullest life of all time.
It was his time. Christina, if you're listening to this, I'm only laughing because he had a full life. I mean, the guy lived for fucking ever. It was amazing. This dog would never. It was incredible. He just had to be.
He just wouldn't die. Is that what you're trying to say, or what?
No, I mean, the guy. It was incredible.
People would come over and they'd see him and they'd be like, "Oh my God, I thought like you guys put him down already." We're like, "No, he's still here. He's still kicking it, man. He's the best dog ever.
Unstoppable. It was amazing. It was amazing. And I'll never forget that dog. Absolutely. Try this one. Let's see if it flies. 30 Rock or Community?
Oh, 30 Rock all day. 30 Rock might be my favorite show of all time.
Wow. Well, we hit on something there. Okay. That was
or
just
comedy.
a shot in the dark.
Favorite comedy, maybe. Like, I think there are some shows I might like more, but it's my guilt. No, I don't want to say guilty. It's my like go-to for like, and I can watch any episode at any time, and
You're just gonna chill out. You're gonna throw it on.
Yeah, literally. Just put it on background noise, whatever it is, and I just let it flow. Community, exactly. I like Community. I started it. It just didn't. It didn't thing right with it. Didn't. It wasn't bad. Like, I didn't hate Community, but I didn't like love it either. It was fine. I like Community.
I don't think it aged well as like the first couple of 2 seasons I was in for Community, and then I'm just like, I'm out. But yeah, like 30 Rock, like it doesn't matter. You could throw on like any episode. It's not like they mix together or there's like a progression in the story. Like it's great.
That's true.
And it aged well if you think about it. Like with the jokes and stuff, like it's like, 30 Rock. I don't want to say 30 Rock did it first, but 30 Rock predicted it. There's a ton of that stuff in there.
Wow. Oh, well then what about like non-comedy then to show that you're like, wow, that show blew my mind?
Oh, I don't want to give like a gimme answer, but like Sopranos is fantastic. Like I love Sopranos.
That's not a gimme answer. It's one of the best shows that ever was created, and it's only natural that you would want to say that.
I mean, what is it? Shit.
Whoopsie daisy.
Yeah, I completely forgot. I season 1 of HBO. Give me the name. The fuck.
Oz.
No, not Oz.
Game of Thrones.
No, not Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones sucked after I love Game of Thrones, but that last season ruined it for me. But like,
oh, it's fucking terrible. It's fucking awful. It destroyed the whole thing.
Fuck. Why can't I get the name right? It's 3 seasons. They had with Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson.
Oh, True Detective.
True Detective. True Detective season 1 is honestly the best season of TV I think ever.
Really good.
Of any show ever, and that's it's its own show in and of itself. So I like to consider that the best show of all time.
I just did his memoir, whatever, Green Lights, Matthew McConaughey. It was really fucking good, actually. I really enjoyed it. I did the audiobook, and it's got me wanting to watch True Detective again. I'm like, oh man, I haven't watched that in like 6 years. I'm ready to go back and watch that again. Because when it came out in real time in 2013, I remember every Sunday night. I rarely do you ever like wait for a new episode to come out of anything anymore. I'll just wait for the whole thing. But that was like, I can't wait to see what happens next. It's incredible.
Yeah, blew my mind. I've seen it at least 4 or 5 times. I don't even know at this point, but it's only 1 season, so it's easier to do. But I mean, like, I know the twists and turns and I know what happens, but it just, the progression, the storytelling, the acting, everything's awesome. So I love True Detective. And in Sopranos, it's harder to get through a full series watch of Sopranos. So I'd say, that's where True Detective would have the edge.
I do another podcast with a friend of mine that a guy just got to know really recently, and he'd never seen it. He's actually watching Sopranos for the first time, and he's like 37. So you never know. You never know.
I watched the series twice back to back during quarantine last year.
Are you serious?
Did Christina make you do that, or
I watched it by myself because I hadn't seen it since it was like on HBO every Sunday night, and then she wanted to watch it, so I just watched it again with her.
It's a really good show. I don't like the episodes where he has the dream sequences. That kind of bums me out, but whatever. I can skip those. All right. So you live in LA. Are you a Dodgers fan, or what's your team then? I don't even know. Oh, hold up. Here we go.
Go get
Here comes
the gear.
an artifact.
Let me get my gear.
Yeah, I thought
Big Dodgers
I thought
fan.
it was.
Like, I have Dodgers gear all around my house, autographs, this and that. So, I don't need that.
I knew
anymore.
you and Vlad, you LA Dodger fans, you and Matty Davis. You guys are everywhere. They're all over the place.
Yeah, no, I've been a Dodgers fan my whole life, essentially. My aunt Patty, she got me into the Dodgers. My family was never really a big sports family. Like, we liked the Lakers, but aside from that, like, she had like all this flair, like these pins from like the 80s and 70s. She told me shit about like stories about like Steve Garvey and all this.
She
and,
know
like,
Diane Cannon?
I don't know about going that far, but no, she, shout out to her. She got me into the Dodgers. Yeah, no, and I've been going to games since I was 10. I've gone to like, there are seasons where I've gone to like 20 games because tickets were like $5-6.
So last year, Kev, was the first time you saw them win a World Series, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I was not live.
Does it count?
That counts. I mean, I have the Mickey Mouse Lakers championship here. So
that one definitely got it. That, by the way, that was the most hard-earned title that any league has ever earned. That bubble and that long-ass season, that one totally counts. But the baseball one, I'm with you a little bit. I think it counts because they expanded the playoffs. It was you had to beat more teams to get there. Oh.
They weren't taking 3 to 4 days off between games, so you had to use your full roster. I totally agree with the Dodgers championship being real last year.
Absolutely. Yeah, you think about that. And they had to face Randy Arozarena when he was on the greatest home run tear of all time. So counts to me.
That's very true. Man, that was fucking great. And I don't think Arozarena has lived up to his ADP, though. Has he? Dave McDonald, Rhodosaurus, where you at?
I mean, he's been fine. No, this week. He got really good this past week, but he faced the Orioles, so it was like a tune-up basically.
Yeah, even Gleyber Torres is good against the Orioles. Come on, jeez. Brian K. Rodgman says Richie Aprile scared the shit out of me. Scares the shit out of me to this day. Yeah, I don't blame you. That guy was, man, some sick fucks on that show. But good writing, good character acting. Well done. Okay, I think we asked all the standard questions. We got to know Kev a little bit better. You have officially survived Enrico's Inquisition. 3 cheers. Oh wait, Deary, I forgot to ask this to Alex Fast. I didn't ask this.
I know.
We got.
I didn't butt in last week, but go ahead and ask the last.
You
question.
should have. If it came up, you should have, because I listened to the pod after the fact. I was like, oh my god, I forgot to ask the last final question, because we don't do this as much because we hadn't had as many guests on recently since the season started. But Kev, for love or money?
I mean, how much money?
I don't know. It's.
Do you
have a number?
I mean, no, but if someone everyone has a price. Once you get to a certain number, yes, I will take the money, but it really depends. It's context based. I think I'd prefer love, because I assume love is equivalent to happiness, but money can be happiness too. At a certain, I can figure out my own love at a certain point with that money. Like, if I can never be happy with the money, that's different. But if it's like money and then you just never find a wife, I'll be cool with that, honestly. But it depends on how much. Hey,
you heard it right from his mouth, folks. Now you've officially survived Enrico's Inquisition. 3 cheers. Kev! Way to go. He's young, too, though. He's still growing. Don't worry. When he gets to 40, we'll see what he says then. But for now, this is on the record. We got you on the record, and that's all I wanted to do. All right, now it's time to get back into the fantasy baseball realm. We're going to fire up everybody's favorite game. It's MJ Govier, GOV is in Victor, IER on Twitter, CDeary1999 on Twitter, at RotoSurgeon on Twitter. Of course, we are joined by Kev, who's the owner and operator of the operating room. Although, do you own it, or does Rotoballer own it? Or do you own it, but they kind of sponsor you? I don't know how that works.
I think no, it's under their affiliation or whatever. It's a Rotoballer podcast, but it is my podcast under Rotoballer, so I don't technically own it, but it's not like I get paid for it, so I'm fine with that.
Yeah, that's all that matters. Fantastic. I'm all for it. It was a pointless semantical thought that just popped in my head when I'm trying to get back to basics. So
it's valid. But yeah, it's great. Everybody, if go on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever podcasts are available, or wherever you listen to them, feel free to subscribe, rate and review on Apple Podcasts if you get a chance. I would really appreciate that, because I'm still growing. I'm sure this has been in the works for however long with the Palazzo Pod. It takes time, and growth is not exactly linear sometimes, and it gets frustrating when it's not at the speed you want it to. But I'm very happy to say that I'm at a place, at least with it, that I'm very comfortable.
All of that was very honest, and all of it was very true, but it's not all true in a linear fashion, as he said. So you never know how you're going to feel one day to another. One day you'll be really excited. Other days you'll be like, gosh, I just can't seem to make any headway. But what you have to have is a passion and a desire that, regardless of whatever the outcome is, that you step away from each episode you do, whether you're a guest or you do your own show, and you say, you know what? That was fantastic. I enjoyed doing that. I had a good time doing that. And that's all that matters. That leads me to what I saw today on Twitter real quick. I wanted to mention this on the show. Pedro Gomez, he died unexpectedly. It was totally bogus. And Jason Lockenfora, apparently, did you know this? Did you see this video I did on Twitter today? Jason Lockenfora wrote this piece for this project about Pedro Gomez. And he met Pedro Gomez in 1997 when Jason Lockenfora was working for the Freep covering the Red Wings. I didn't know he worked at the Detroit Free Press, and especially during that period of time.
Yeah, that was during the dynasty. That was like right at the start of the dynasty.
Yeah, he talks about it in the piece. It's on my Twitter feed, and I'll repost it. But he talks about the day he met Pedro. They caught a Tigers Athletics day game at Tiger Stadium, and then he went and covered the Red Wings game later on that night, which was in the playoff run on the way to their first Stanley Cup. And I didn't know anything about that. But more importantly, he talks so beautifully and honestly about Pedro Gomez. What a great guy. What an inspiration he brought to others. And he carries that with him. This was 23 years ago when he first met Pedro. And he talked about it was like they were sitting together yesterday. I thought it was really impressive. Cool. Please go to Jason Lockenfora's account. Check it out. It's a whole thing about Pedro Gomez. I was actually pretty moved by it. I thought it was fantastic. So That's why we do this. And it reminded me why we do this. And it actually ties into what we were just talking about. Inspiration, doing it because you love to do it. And if there's perks along the way, that just makes it all the better. It really does. And I'm not, you guys know me, I don't bullshit. I tell it like it is. I try to be as authentic as possible. If anything, I'll be too authentic and I'll be too human and I'll make too many mistakes. But that's okay. I can live with that. I really can. So I just wanted to mention that. Now, let's play America's fastest growing game show. Ladies and gentlemen, everyone in between, it's time for Name That Runner-Up Fab Bid. Right now there's music playing on the podcast version, but YouTube doesn't like music that we play on the podcast. That's okay. It's a little bit of a bonus for you podcast lovers. Deary, we're getting better at this game every single week. Why don't you lead us off? What do you got for us?
We haven't hit one right on the head yet, but we've been really, really close.
Yes.
So I'll lead us off tonight. We're going to go with top fab bid in my TGFBI league from this past Sunday. The top bid was Hansel Robles of the Twins in the last week. 2 saves, 1 hold, 1 win. The winning bid in fab this past week was $68. What was the runner-up fab bid? Let's go to Kev.
It was $68?
68 was the winning bid.
And what was the losing bid is what you're asking.
Yep. What is the runner-up bid?
The second bid behind that.
67.
Ooh, okay. He's going 67. I'm going to say people wanted Robles because he's a closer in demand, but I'm going to say it was a couple dollars. I'll say it was 62.
Wrong. Okay. You guys are a little over. 55 was the runner-up bid.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay. Well, hey,
Wrong.
I like how Kev's playing this though. 67. That was a good one. I like this. Hey. I think he's gonna nail one of these.
Yeah, Kev's good at it. He knows how to fit right
because I want to fit in.
All right. I'll go next, and then you'll go, Kev. Do you want to play, or do you just want to play along? I don't know because you never played this game before. Oh, he's fine.
I can figure. I'm rolling with the punches. Let's go.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this one comes from my main event league, the main event league where I continue to be an absolute travesty. I can't even start a full roster because I'm injury ravaged. And then when I try to add players, I get outbid. So you're stuck with those players. Welcome to hell. But try to keep a smile on my face as we talk about this week's fab bid. There was a bid of $155 for Brendan Rodgers of the Colorado Rockies, the second baseman / shortstop. He's had a nice little start to his return since he came off the IL. $155 bid. Kev, what was the runner-up bid to $155?
In a main event league?
Yes.
23.
Okay, 23. Deary, over to you.
Yeah, he went for 19 2 weeks ago in my league. I don't think it's going to be that low, but I don't think it's going to be triple digits. I'm going to go with $49.
Wow, I gotta say, Deary, $3 off. $52 was the runner-up bid.
Getting close.
Not bad. That's pretty damn good.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
That's not true. He almost nailed it. That guy doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. All right, Kev, what do you got for us?
Okay, I got one for you right here. This is in TGFBI. I have one player by the name of Yerman Mercedes. He was somehow available in my TGFBI league. Someone for some reason dropped him 2 weeks ago. This is what I don't know. Some people get frustrated with TGFBI, but I don't think this is like a league winner. But at the same time, the winning bid, $201 fab dollars, feels a little low for one of the better hitters in the league right now. Yeah. But what was the runner-up bid to $201 fab dollars?
It's a tough one. Wow. If he was available, it feels like people wouldn't be into him. So I don't think there's going to be a tremendous competition unless I'm going to say, this is hard. Deary, is this hard?
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, was everyone aware that he was available? Was everyone doing the research, scouring the free agency wire and seeing that Yerman was in there? What was the bid, Kev, that won?
201.
201.
Yeah, I'm going to say 103. That's my runner-up fab bid.
Okay.
I'm going to go with 162.
Wow, that's actually 159.
Oh,
$3 holy shit, man. Deary's in the zone tonight.
Here's the thing with Yerman Mercedes. His name was atop the production charts So yes, everyone saw Yerman Mercedes. So yeah, he was in high demand, and the 159, which was my bid, is the loser, and I dropped it from 189. Wow. So I felt fine at the end of the day. I wasn't going to get him anyway.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that was well done. Hey, you fit right in with that, Kev. Well done. We'll leave it there. I just want to play one round of it, but I love playing Name That Word on Fab Bid. We always learn something, and we're getting a little bit better each and every week. What I'd like to do now, though, is get into the value zone. And yes, once again, on the podcast version, you're hearing the Value Zone Bozo song underneath as we head into trade targets to save a season. Who suck right now? So we're trying to give you buy lows, trade targets, but they will save your season. So if you have the unfortunate situation where you're down in the dumps in the standings, near the cellar, but you want to climb out of it, we have guys that suck now that you can acquire that's hopefully cheaper for you in order to build you back up by the second half of the season. So I hope we all understand the premise here. If it varies slightly, I won't get offended. Kev, you want to go first?
This is tough because trade targets are like everybody knows the old mantra: buy low, sell high, all that stuff. But sometimes you got to buy high. Sometimes you got to kind of sell high to get that buy high or whomever it may be. So like,
that's true.
It's all relative. Trading isn't perfect. Everyone wants to win a trade. And that's where I feel like a lot of this gets kind of skewed. But if you're going to trade for someone, there are definitely, it's tough right now because you got to figure out rest of the season value as well. I like Austin Meadows a lot. He hasn't really stolen many bases, but he finally, kind of produced today relative to the past few weeks. He hasn't produced since I'd say the Baltimore series 2 weeks ago. So I like Austin Meadows a lot. Average is low. The power's there. He's hit 10 home runs, but only 1 steal. There's more steals coming. Like I feel like his speed, he didn't really steal bases last year, but he was injured last year, or he had some, I think, COVID issue. I forgot what it was. I believe it was COVID.
It was COVID.
But yeah, I like Austin Meadows a lot. I think you can buy off of today. Maybe someone's trying to sell high, pay that little pretty of a penny and go get Austin Meadows.
Fantastic. I'm all for that. He had a home run and 4 ribbies today, I believe, and he's going to heat up. And he's better than this, and he's on a good team. The problem is the Rays are going to ray, but still, I think that's a great call because these guys are not as bad as they look on the surface. It just can't last. Law of averages says otherwise eventually. I dig it. Deary, what do you got?
Yeah, I had Meadows too. He was at the top of my list. He's hitting too many fly balls right now. He did hit another home run today. Go scoop him up now because he's going to start hitting more line drives and less pop-up fly balls. So I love that Meadows pick. I'm going to go with Colton Wong. So Colton Wong's been leading off for the Brewers here. Really, really low strikeout rate. He's going to give you some steals. He didn't even start in the first half of this doubleheader today. Came in later in the day and picked up 2 steals, which was really, really nice. He's at a career high hard hit rate right now. For the Brewers lineup that hasn't really been doing too much, I mean, hopefully they can get Yelich back in that lineup, but I love the fact that he's playing every day. He's leading off, and you can get him really, really cheap right now. Probably not going to give you a ton of power, but I like the opportunity for him to hit 280, 290 and steal a bunch of bags. So if he can stay healthy, you can certainly get him on the cheap, and you can also put him in at a couple different positions. He's got eligibility at 3 different positions right now, so I like Colton Wong and moving forward.
Definitely.
Colton Wong. That sounds like fun. Okay. I can buy that. I don't know if this one counts or not. I mean, maybe it's debatable, but I'm going to throw it out there. I still think Gary Sanchez is a guy who's not terrible.
You're still doing this shit with Gary Sanchez?
I sure am. That's right. Hey,
you got to ride it forever, man.
You don't change horses midstream. That's what I do. However, some people have said I'm a moron and I really don't know what I'm talking about. And, they'd be fair to say, no, you're perfectly reasonable to say,
what the hell's going on?
I don't know. I just think Gary Sanchez has something left to offer. And the whole Kyle Higashioka situation, it got fun for a minute, but I don't think it's not like he took over that job at all.
No.
Right? So they want Gary Sanchez. If the best version of this team, the best version of the New York Yankees is Gary Sanchez at his best, which is still a guy who crushes the shit out of the ball. And I know it's a small sample size because we're only still in May, right? But he's got a 13% walk rate, which is above his career norm. And if he can continue to do that, be a little bit more patient. The strike rate is at a career norm. He's not striking out at like an outrageous rate right now either. 27% 13% walk rate. I kind of like that. The BABIP's at 206. His career BABIP is 252. So eventually this has got to get right. If he's unlucky and he still cracks the shit out of the ball, I think this is somebody you can buy low on. And by August, he plays a lot more consistently in a year where catchers are just never get consistent playing time. I think this is somebody you got to strike now, because he did hit home run today, I think, and people will start to take notice like, well, I'm not getting rid of him now. He's going to go on a streak. It could already be too late even, but that's my guy, Gary Sanchez.
No, I'm all for that. Yeah, no, Gary Sanchez. I mean, it's a catcher. Like, his name value is higher than what his actual production is, but if you could get 230 batting average eventually with, I don't know, like good walks and whatnot, like the lineup's not that bad. It should get better with Stanton if he does stick in the lineup, and I'm sure the Yankees will make a trade. Like, I can't buy into this lineup being the year-long lineup, because they are the Yankees. They are, like, it's the expectation of them, and the regression's been due for a while, so maybe he just goes on an absolute tear.
Yeah.
And he's healthy.
That is why I wanted Kev on the show, to agree with me and no one else. All right, Deary, let's go back to you. Give us another one.
Let's go with Dansby Swanson. So Dansby Swanson was off to a horrid start for the Braves. He had a really, really great breakout season, former #1 overall pick. He's striking out at 29% right now, just a little touch above his career average. But in the last 2 weeks, he started to heat up. He's got 9 runs, 4 home runs, which is really, really, really important in the last couple of weeks. He does have 2 swipes in the season. He's a guy who can definitely have 15, steal potential. Batting 286 over the last couple of weeks. I think he's starting to heat up. He's hit safely in 7 straight games, which is really, really nice. And I'm just really waiting for that Braves offense to take off. And I'm waiting for them to kind of run away with the division. But you can certainly get him on the cheap right now. Shortstops are kind of all over the place. Some guys just haven't produced. There's a bunch of guys that are injured right now. So I think he'd be a really nice one to pick up. Another guy I also like, Gleyber Torres. He was also off to a really, really bad start. Over the last month, batting 338. He's only got, let's see, what he's got, 2-3 home runs. He has 2 home runs. The home runs are going to come. He's going to end up with close to 20, 25 home runs. I think midsummer he starts to heat up there. So Gleyber Torres and Dansby Swanson are 2 guys that I think you can go out and get right now.
Dansby's hit a bunch of home runs recently over the last week, so that's fun. But his OBP is still under 3, I believe, which is shit. So that qualifies. That definitely qualifies. Kev, let's go back to you. Who you got? Give us a minute.
Alec Baum. I like Alec Baum a lot. I wasn't a massive fan.
He got a hit today.
Breaking news. He got a hit today. That's important. Hey, he's been weird. Like, strikeout rate's a little higher than it should be. The average is down. It's like, okay, he's seeing the full regression from last year. It's like kind of balanced out to where his career numbers look really normal right now if you compare last year's hot streak to this year's cold streak. But playing at Citizens Bank, really friendly to right-handed power, or just power in general. And I mean, look at who's hitting around him. Like, once he gets Harper back in the lineup, I think he'll be fine. It's just been a weird Phillies team. Brad Miller is looking really good as well. So, I mean, that's weird to say, but the lineup's not that bad. He's not going to be this bad all year. He's making good contact. The strikeouts are a little high, like I said, but in a non-OBP league, I'd be definitely looking for him. Hard hit percentage is about 40% right now. That could even go up. He's hitting a ton of ground balls. So I think they're a lot more pull heavy against him, if anything. So if he makes a slight adjustment, starts lifting the ball more, I'm all in on Alec Baum bouncing back.
That is a buzzworthy name. People are bringing him up a lot. I see people asking, analysts all over, what do I do about Baum? What do I do about Baum? People are panicking. They feel like they've wasted it. In redraft leagues in particular, they feel like maybe it's just not going to work out. So that's good to know. That is positive reinforcement, Kev. Thank you.
Yeah, they bombed the pick, if anything.
And a ground ball into left field for a base hit. They're going to wave him in.
That's you. I'm waving you in after that joke. Well done.
I appreciate it.
We should cut that clip short, though, because he does get thrown out. But I didn't want you to get thrown out. You're safe in my book. I have to tell you, I agree with Kev. This was a tough thing to do. You think there are a lot of players that struggle out there, and there are a lot of players struggling. So you would think, oh, it'd be easy to go pick out this guy, this guy, and this guy, and this guy. But it's not as simple because some guys are doing some things okay, but they're not doing other things so well. Yoan Moncada is an example of this. Yoan Moncada has over 400 OBP, sitting 281. He's got a BABIP of 400, but he only has 3 home runs. 3. So you're like, dude, where's the 25 home run pop you showed in 2019? So I didn't think he qualified because he's got a 16% walk rate. So he's getting on base plenty. He's just not hitting pop. Goes the weasel over the ballpark fence. That's my issue. So I pulled him from this list in the end after I thought about it. My guy, I'm going to go with Matt Chapman. And on the Turn 2 podcast the other day, the guys talked about Matt Chapman. In fact, Paul Mamino, follow Paul on Twitter, P Mamino Fantasy. He's a rotofanatic genius. Created the data monster. He's the architect of it. He's the lord of the data monster. He talked about the fact that we overhype players like Chapman because they're really good defensively. And so in our minds, we jack up their value because of their defensive prowess, even though it doesn't provide us any real fantasy value. And I can respect that opinion, but I actually go with Matt Williams' point of view on the other side because he was saying, Matt Chapman crushes the hell out of the ball, and this guy's a 30 home run guy pretty easily, and he's still hitting the ball really hard. He's just topping it. He was in ridiculous percentages of topping the ball, like 15%, really high. So it's just a matter of getting some breaks to go his way. I feel like he's not going to hit 5 home runs all year. There's 20 home runs left of that bat at minimum, and if you want to get all 20 of those, I think you should strike now while most people are like, dude, I can't get anything for this guy. But they might not move. If they're a smart owner, they won't bail. They'll be like, I'm waiting on Chapman. But if you can find the fool, or at least the scared contrarian is like, I just want to get this guy off my roster, then do it. Matt Chapman, I'm buying in.
I'm not buying in because he dealt with injured hip last year. He got surgery over the offseason, and I feel like that's what's affecting him more than anything. It's a physical issue, not like a mechanical issue more than anything. I mean, it's mechanical to physical, whatever, but it's something about comfortability at the plate. He's striking out a shit ton. He's hitting more. I think he's hitting more ground balls this year. As you mentioned, he's topping the ball. Or no, he's hitting a ton of fly. He's hitting normal fly balls. So that's not the issue. It's just, I think this is a issue of he's not 100% or he's not completely comfortable. And post surgery, I tend to avoid players. Chapman's one of those guys. And call me the fool, but I probably try to release him try to get him off my team if I had him.
No, look. The first thing I thought of was the hip injury because I had him last year, so I was well aware of it. And I thought, boy, this is a risky time. But, he's striking out. He's not striking out as much as he did last year with the hip injury, so that's good news. His K percentage
it's still 31%, but that's actually down from last year.
Well, yeah, which is with the hip issue. So if there was early season struggles with the hip issue, the one thing that I throw in the face of that is his defensive metrics look really good. He's playing excellent defense still, so that doesn't seem to be bothering him. But if it's all about shifting that weight in the hips and displacement and crushing that ball, then I would agree with you. But the fact that he still has a max EV of 108, I know the ball apparently has a greater max EV this year. That's fair. And then in Kev's support, his exit velocity is at 88. He's got a career of 92, so... That's fair. Maybe he's not hitting the ball as hard as I thought he would be anymore, but his barrel rate's still right around where it usually is. So,
yeah,
nobody here is a doctor, so we have no idea what is affecting him.
Not at all. But if you mentioned the strikeout rate, it's lower than last year, but it's still about 10% higher than his career norm. So he's better than he was. I mean, it's weird because he doesn't have the same power as he did last year, but he's he's not making the same contact. So maybe it's a again, comfortability where he's not in rhythm, and maybe he gets in rhythm later down the line. But, first year off injury, whether it be Tommy John, whether it be like with Corey Seager, we saw with Corey Seager 2 years ago, coming off the hip and Tommy John surgery, he just was not the same hitter as he was last year. And then coming into this year, he's been really good. I mean, obviously he's injured with the hand injury, but nevertheless, some guys just the first year off injury, I tend to avoid. And that's just like a good rule of thumb. And it just might not hit this year, but next year I'll buy in for sure.
Yeah, it is for me too. I don't know what the hell happened to me. I got too caught up in analysis and not focusing on my own shit this year. I blew it. Everything I say is wrong. Please don't listen to this podcast ever again. I have no idea what I'm talking about. I have lost it. I have lost my mind. Brady Singer sucks. Matt Chapman sucks. Everybody sucks. How did I keep Matt Chapman and I didn't keep Shohei Ohtani the hitter? It's so stupid. What was I thinking? It's so dumb.
You kept Kenta Maeda, not Corbin Burns.
Yeah.
Oh, I kept Ian Happ and not Ian Anderson. I kept the wrong Ian. Hey. No, I'm serious. Like I actually did though. So, but that's.
Oh, I know you had a great Twitter thread. Was it yesterday about? Was it Vlad or were you talking about? Hey, I made a mistake. I own it, or I was wrong.
Yeah. No, that one. It was just like we all make mistakes. It's like my process was off, but. Some things, Adolis Garcia. I can't say I whiffed on Adolis Garcia. We all whiffed on Adolis Garcia.
Exactly.
But there are guys like I was fervently against Nolan Arenado because I'm like, oh, he's out of Coors. St. Louis is bottom 3 for right-handed power, this and that. He'll be a good contact hitter, but he'll be more of he'll be empty average with some RBIs and runs. He won't be. And the power has been great. So I was completely off base when I was discussing Nolan Arenado, and that's, you got to be honest with your listeners, with your followers, whomever it may be. Just with your friends too. You guys are. I consider you guys, more than acquaintances. I'm on your podcast, so that's
friend of ours. You're a friend of mine.
Friend of the pod, if anything. But thank you guys obviously for that. And you got to be honest. You can't be just. I'm not hitting on everything. I have my misses, and that's one of them.
Yeah, I mean, Kev, we had like 40 guests on the show in the last 3-4 months, and a guy like Nolan Arenado is a perfect example. I was high on Arenado, but every single person we had on our pod that talked about Arenado brought up all the same points you did. Him going over to Bush, he's going to be a good hot contact hitter, probably still have good average, but not hit 35 home runs, and that's exactly what he's going to do this year. So thanks to the 40 guests that we had on that talked me off Arenado.
Yeah, that's the thing. We're in year 2-ish of our analysis experience here. So we're still learning. Even though we play this game forever, in terms of public analysis, what you tell people and what you do, I try to do exactly what I say. I don't deviate from that. But what you do learn is who to listen to, who not to listen to. And that's something that I still have to learn for myself because I respect so many people. But in the end, if I want to live with myself, I want to go down swinging with my own people. And that's something I learned this year. That I will apply next year for sure. So, but I still love getting up. Yes, exactly. But I still loving getting opinions for people like you. I just got to know. I got to know when to be like, all right, that's cool. That guy is intelligent. He knows his shit, but he can't predict the future any more than anybody else can. I'm going to go with my instinct in the end. And if I burn with that, then I'll live with it. But one thing that bothers me the most is kind of acquiescing to other opinions just because I kept hearing it or I didn't stop and be like, whoa, slow down. So that's okay. I am still excited for this season, even though I got a lot of teams struggling. I got some teams doing all right, and there's still a lot of baseball left. I want you guys to know that. It's still May yet. We got June, July, and August. 3 full months of baseball before we get into playoffs and head-to-head stuff in September. And then for Roto, you got all of September still. So do not fear. I'm not going to freak out yet. There's a lot of baseball left. We're going to wrap up the show here momentarily. Is there one more, guys, each one of you wanted to share before we wrap up this segment and kind of put a bow on it?
Oh my God. This isn't a trade target, but this is he has to figure it out eventually. But Luis Castillo, there's no way he's going to be this bad forever. I refuse to believe this is who he's become or whatever. We saw the start 2 games ago, I believe I forgot who he started against. There was the Milwaukee start he was bad against. And I want to say it was the Giants that he was 11 Ks, 3 earned runs. And those earned runs, it wasn't, he had the walks, but he's not going to be this bad. There's no way. I refuse to believe it. He should be closer to a 3.8 or a 4 ERA. This is just egregious. He has to get his control down. I think he needs a phantom IL stint like Maeda's having right now. Just put him out for 2-3 weeks and just kind of bring him back, let him tweak his stuff, get his head right. And I don't know if he's a buy low because this is more of, a leap of faith than anything. Just there's no way, right?
I'm trying to acquire him as a throw-in right now, just to kind of even out the trade and I'll probably scoop him up in this trade and not even start him until he gets it going. I have the luxury to do that because I have some good other starting pitching, but I don't think we've ever seen anything like this. A guy who's been really, really good for 3 years and then just completely loses it. I know the fastball is down a little, but it has ticked up here in the last couple of weeks. But he's just given up so many runs. I don't see it continuing because this guy really does have nasty stuff. So I like what you said, Kev. I don't think anyone has brought up, maybe we get a phantom IL stint. Maybe he can get it right. But there's no way this is going to happen forever. I would not be surprised if come July he has a nice 4 or 5 start stretch where he's really, really good.
Yeah.
Well, there it is. Deary, do you want to say anybody else before we go? Was there any player that we didn't get to?
It's funny. On my list, I had Meadows, I had Castillo.
Oh, wow. You guys are in sync.
Yeah, it's probably it. Lindor is probably a hot name. Anthony Rendon, now that he's back. But, who knows if he's going to be able to stay healthy. I just love the lineup he's in. With Lindor, I don't even know if you want to go after him because is that Mets lineup ever going to do anything? I just keep streaming whoever's pitching against the Mets, and it just keeps working. I did it with Gomber. I did it with Marquez today. The Mets are in serious trouble offensively.
Yeah.
Mets are bad.
Well, they swept a doubleheader against the Rockies today, so good for the Mets.
Coors.
How many did they score in the second game? They only scored 1 run in the first.
They scored 4 runs in the second
game.
4-2.
That's more than the Tigers.
Look at you, Mets. Go. Hey, they're still in first place in that stupid ass division. So say whatever you want.
I don't get
Oh
it.
my God. It's just mind-boggling. But I guess you got to give a lot of credit to
Weird
Luis
division.
Rojas, the manager. Could be the manager of the year in the National League right now. And that division is weird. The Braves should be the best team. The Phillies will never be good because they're not. And by the way, Joe Girardi is now taking away all your abilities to understand any injury issues going forward. He's trying to be the next Belichick of baseball, apparently, by not telling you shit about his injured players, saying, oh, yeah, it's a coach's decision, manager's decision now. So that's going to get weird for a while. And I would probably like to watch. I know you said Alec Baum could bounce back. That's fine. That's a good take. That's a smart take. But I'm actually thinking, I don't know if I want anything to do with Phillies players. If this is going to be like a team-wide thing for the rest of the year, I don't want to play mind games with whether my players are going to be healthy or not because I don't know the truth.
I mean, you're not wrong. It feels, like you mentioned Belichick with the Patriots running backs were always they're always
starting?
a frustrating. Yeah, exactly. Who's starting? So I guess, that's an apt take, but Didi's out right now. Harper's out. So the lineup's really rough in general, but it's like, if he's not going to randomly bench guys. It's just, if they're on IL, they're on IL. What are you going to do? It's like, you can't change anything about that. As long as you're getting the games when they are healthy, who cares?
Yeah, but if you don't know, if you're in weekly leagues and you don't know how long someone's going to be out, that's where I see it being a real problem. If you got to set a lineup on Monday and the guy could be back on Wednesday, but they won't tell you, that's just the risk where it depends. If you're not going to dump Bryce Harper, I'm not saying that. It's just no. Who's the player? How important is that player to your team, and is it worth the time?
Yeah, I mean, Machado was injured the whole week, and then he's pinch hitting or something, and you missed a whole half week of Machado because he's had an injured shoulder. But it's he's day to day, and you're like, okay, might as well put him on IL if he's out for 5 days. But whatever, it sucks.
Need the 2-day IL.
What didn't suck was this episode. Man, really enjoyed doing this. I'm so glad we got to do this. I definitely would love to do it again. And by the way, technically it is our 100th episode. We didn't even say that, but Kev.
Woo! Oh, wow.
Yeah.
This is incredible. And Kev is our 100th guest. I will always remember this episode. Thanks for joining us, Kev. Amazing.
Thank you guys for having me. This is so much fun. Thank you. The Inquisition was a blast. I didn't realize that was a thing. I didn't even know what that was, but it turned out to be enjoyable. I'm glad I got to know you guys too. This is more than just fantasy baseball, and that's something the community really needs. It's, I feel robotic when I talk on my podcast sometimes and other people's podcasts because it's all fantasy questions or sports questions, and
sure.
It's oh, where do you work and what do you do? Who are you? It's you can only give so much in a short time span, but.
Well, you do a show by yourself too. I mean, you have guests on, but if there's no guests, it's just you, right?
I mean, I'm not going to talk for an hour and a half straight. That nobody wants to hear that.
Nobody wants to hear me do that. Nobody wants to hear Deary do that. No, that's ridiculous. You're totally correct on that. But you got a great voice, you got a good presence, so you're going to be fine. Keep doing what you're doing. I wouldn't tell you if I didn't believe that. I'd just be like, well, it's been great having you on. Truthfully, I don't even know we'll have anybody on, but I also know that you're a hot name. You're a sexy guy doing his thing with the mustache, killing it right now. And I'm excited. I'm excited about it. And in fact, what we've done, I'm not taking credit for it, but I do think doing that Inquisition, we've been doing that for a long time now, since last year. I think it's bred other people because Justin Mason started doing that TGFBI pod where he got to know somebody beyond the baseball stuff. And even I think Nick Pollock was doing something like that too, where it's they're talking about other things. So I think that's a good thing. That's great. Let's get more of that. We all know we like fantasy baseball. We all know who we want and who sucks, and we can talk about it because it's still a lot of fun, but there's a lot of stuff we can learn about each other. So that makes me feel good. That's a good note to go on episode 100. We did it. Kev, give them the spiel. Say goodbye here. Tell people what you want them to know about you as we close out the show.
I'm just going to give kind of the profile spiel. It's okay, at RotoSurgeon, obviously the @'s down there. Make sure to follow on Twitter. Thanks again to everybody who tuned in and listened. I write for Rotoballer. I do podcasting with the Operating Room, as mentioned ad nauseum on this pod. The Game Day as well. That's my new gig, I guess. I do a lot of sports betting and whatnot with the Game Day, and it's more futures bets. So the Game Day, there's MLB, NFL, NBA, all of that good stuff. And then,
is that a website, thegameday.com? Or
the Game Day is a website run managing editors Tim Heaney. I'm not sure if you're
I've seen his name on Twitter. Yeah,
he's verified, so shout out to Tim. But yeah, he's a fantastic editor. He's been Yeah, no. But yeah, no, the game day is awesome. Make sure to go check out the game day as well. Rotoballer for all of your fantasy sports needs. Again, baseball, basketball, hockey, golf, MMA, video games, doesn't matter. Rotoballer's got it. Rotoballer YouTube page as well. Dozens of our great analysts putting out work on the weekly. Whatever you need, it's there in video form. And we have Scott the King Angle. We have, Eric Samolsky putting out great work. I can go all day about the Rotoballer page. Subscribe there, like our videos. And again, thanks to everybody for tuning in. Hopefully you guys got to know me a little better. I definitely got to know the hosts, Michael and Chris, a little better. And, it's been an hour 45. I can't believe we've been doing this long. It's probably my longest podcast ever.
Kind of moves by pretty quickly, though. It doesn't go that slow. At least I didn't
when
think
you're having fun. When you're having fun.
Yeah. That's a lot. I'm going to check out the game. I didn't even know that website existed. I'm going to check out all that stuff. Cool. We had Eric Samolsky on the show last month, or about 6 weeks ago. It was really great to get to know him. A New Yorker, survived a volcano nightmare down in the Caribbean a while back. Crazy stuff. So check out all the old episodes. They're on the YouTube channel. They're on all the podcast feeds. Palazzo Podcast, 2 L's, 2 Z's, of course. Palazzo Podcast.
Utah.
At
Give me 2.
protonmail.com is our email if you choose to use that. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter, of course. That's where we hang out most of the time. At MJ Govier, G-O-V and Victor IER on Twitter is where I do all my independent business in cooperation with the Palazzo Podcast. He's C. Deary 1999, of course. That is not like the deer, the animal. It's like the dearly beloved man that Deary is. Deary, we had a good show. Do you think it worked out all right?
Yeah, this was great, Kev. Thanks for coming on. You are a busy, busy man, but I'm sure all the content you're putting out is fantastic. So thanks for coming on. I hope we get to do this again, hopefully later this summer.
Looking forward to it, man. Like, I'm sure you guys will be on my pod eventually. Like, I have a couple guests lined up for the next week or two, but yeah, I might want you guys as a duo. This is a lot of fun. So I'll definitely have a Palazzo Pod X The Operating Room episode coming out relatively shortly. So whenever you guys have a moment, I'm sure I'm like, hopefully you guys are down to come on, and that'll be maybe late June-ish. We'll see when we can get that.
Of
Hell
course.
yeah.
Yeah. That's a no-brainer. You don't have to think twice about that. We're always happy to do other people's podcasts because we get to know them better and we learn things about ourselves along the way.
Perfect.
And we hope you all have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. For those of you in Canada, I hope you enjoyed your Victoria weekend last weekend, but that's over now. It's our time. It's the U.S.'s time to shine. It's Memorial Day weekend. I'm Michael Govier. He's Christopher Deary. That's Kev Mahserejian, and I hope you guys all had a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Thank you to Kev. Make it a 100, baby. Catch you on the flip side.